Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Vancouver comes up with a puck. John Kessler. Look at it. Scores! A big, and it's in! And the game is tied!
On Sports 1440.
And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Dean colliding with Veronica, getting it to Draisaitl. Back to Bouchard.
What a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Coming to you live at sports1440.ca. Many of you streaming the show on Instagram for Sports 1440, on Twitter. Hey, we love it. Anywhere where we can see you, you can hear us. It's great. So something tells me, Oiler fans, in a fairly good mood today after late game heroics. That might have to come up for a different name. Obviously, he's known as the Bouch Bomb, but it might be Big Moment Bouchard. Oh, my goodness. Evan Bouchard. Think about his playoffs so far. And by the way, the Gregor Show is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Might want to go to PlayAlberta.ca right now. And before Game 5, use the promo code Gregor50. It gives you a $50 wager for free, minimum $5 deposit to go with it. Might want to put something down on Bouchard the way he's rolling. That's goals in 3 consecutive games for Bouchard. He has 3 game-winning goals in the playoffs this year. Now, game-winning goals are not all equal. All right, if you win a game 6-1 and you score the second goal, it is the game-winning goal, but it's not really as crucial as an overtime winner. Or a goal with 39 seconds left. Or the only goal in a 1-0 victory. Those are the 3 game winners for Bouchard this year. Game 4 against the Kings, they win 1-0. Bouchard scores the only goal. Game 2 against the Canucks in overtime, Bouchard scores. Game 4, after Vancouver tied it in the final 2 minutes of the game, the building had the life sucked out of it momentarily. And then Kane and Holloway, who hadn't played down, I think it was the final 5 minutes of the game they hadn't played as the Oilers were protecting the lead. Coach goes with the guys with fresh legs. Get on the ice. Kane, good forecheck. Chips it down low. Draisaitl, as he always does, produces 2 points in a game in the playoffs. Side note, we'll get to that in a second. And then Evan Bouchard, who is a right-handed shot. He slides over from the right side. Now he's on the left side. As he's moving forward, sliding, finds an open lane. Perfect shot right above the pad. Game winner, 39 seconds left. Massive goal. Evan Bouchard, who had a very good regular season. If you look straight head-to-head, Evan Bouchard, Quinn Hughes in this series, it's checkmark Evan Bouchard. He's outperformed Quinn Hughes. Bouchard has played 27 minutes and 51 seconds a game in this series so far. 27:51. Hughes is playing 24:48. Bouchard has 3 goals, 3 assists. By the way, only 2 points on the power play. For those who always like to use the ignorant term of power play merchant. God, that's such a dumb term. You know what? I've just decided I'm never mentioning again because it's so ludicrous. He's also been on the ice 5-on-5. Outshooting when Bouchard's on the ice, Oilers have outshot the Canucks 48-15. And they've outscored them 5-1. Hughes at 5-on-5. Canucks have outshot the Oilers 30-28 and outscored them 1-0. So both Bouchard and Hughes haven't been on the ice for many goals against. So sound defensively. Where it changes, though, is in the offensive zone. Quinn Hughes Oh, also 5-on-5. Bouchard has 14 shots. Quinn Hughes has 4. He has no points. 5-on-5 does Quinn Hughes in this series. 0. Evan Bouchard, he has 2-game winners. 5-on-5. Not to mention an assist. And then you look at overall, like, coming in, they're all like, well, Bouchard only gets his points in the power play. Funny enough, Quinn Hughes, 3 points in the power play in the series. Evan Bouchard has 2. And the Oilers' power play is, 50%? So, not bad. But he has 2 points. He's got the majority of his points at even strength. 5-on-5. And he has been deadly when you need it for your team. Now, it's 4 games. I'm not saying he's better than Quinn Hughes. All I'm saying is that Evan Bouchard is putting himself in the conversation. I think when the voting is done, right, and you could argue that he was putting himself in the conversation in the regular season. Because when the Norris Trophy voting comes out, he's not a finalist top 3, and that's fine. But I won't be surprised if he's in the top 6, top 5 for votes. He had a really good season. But what separated Bouchard for me in this postseason is this is now 3 consecutive years where Evan Bouchard has been a guy who shows up in the postseason and performs well. Easier said than done. The list is a lot shorter of guys who are able to elevate their game, especially when it's at a good level, and elevate it even higher come playoff time. And that's what Bouchard's done. Last year, he had 17 points, 4 goals in 12 playoff games. Pretty damn good. This year, he's already got 4 goals and 15 points in 9 games. Meanwhile, he's logging huge minutes. And I think the biggest improvement in Bouchard's game has been his defensive play. We always knew he was good offensively. He might even be better offensively than I think even the most optimistic projection for Bouchard didn't foresee the guy maybe being, 90-point, 100-point guy. Will you be surprised if he does that in the future? Probably not. But his defensive game, and he's not Chris Pronger, doesn't have to be. Right? He's not Jacob Slater, defensive stalwart. Doesn't have to be. He shouldn't be, because that would take away his bread and butter. But he's improved a lot defensively in this series. And in the playoffs, you look at his stick positioning. You look at his body positioning. You look at, and the other thing about Bouchard, we saw it last year. He elevates his play and his intensity in the playoffs. He does. He's getting in scrums. I don't see him shine away from contact at all. Again, I don't need him to be a bruiser, but he's engaged. He's in the lanes. He's battling, but he's defending very well with his stick. Obviously, because of his abilities with the puck, he doesn't have to defend as much. They get out of the zone quicker, but when they're forced to defend, Evan Bouchard has looked very comfortable. The one advantage he has on Quinn Hughes is something that you can't change. He's got a longer reach. He's 6'3". Right? Hughes is a better lateral skater, no question. Right, but Bouchard does. Quinn Hughes can't shoot like Bouchard. He can't. And it's not just the one-timer. It's not just the Bouch bomb. Look at that goal last night. In motion, pulling the puck towards him, sliding from his right to his left, just enough till he sees the lane, and then he fires a perfectly placed shot. It's not just get a shot on net. It's a perfectly placed shot right above the pad. Scores. It's a huge goal. But Evan Bouchard, he has been excellent. Him and Leon Draisaitl have been the 2 best Oilers in this series. Like Leon Draisaitl, again, 2 more points. Like it's almost comical in how consistent Leon Draisaitl is in the playoffs. He's got 10 points in 4 games. I don't even think it's being talked about that much because obviously the Oilers gave up some goals. I get it. But, man, Leon Draisaitl has been a tower of power. He's got 7 goals, 11 helpers, great assist on the winner. Scores again on his one-timer. Another solid performance from 29. And the Oilers, of course, Calvin Pickard comes in. It's a great story about perseverance. A 32-year-old rookie as far as playoff games go. He's not an NHL rookie, but it's his first time starting a playoff game. And what do we talk about? He just needs to be solid. He wasn't out of his mind because he didn't get tested a ton. He didn't have to be, but he made the saves when it mattered. And both the goals that went in, deflections. One off of Nurse, the other one. And by the way, Brock Boeser, I'll give him credit. If you look at that game-tying goal, Boeser doesn't shoot at the net. He shoots at the legs of his teammates in front. Because A, the goalie can't react to that. And B, I think he knew he wasn't going to beat the goalie from that angle. Now, maybe he missed and he was trying to shoot on net, but I don't think so. If you watch the side angle replay, I think that's a purposeful shot directly at the plat. Now, you can say it's a little bit lucky. Fine. Got the bounce he wanted, but he was aiming for the place that could get the bounce. And Pickard, I'm not sure what more you want from him. He didn't get tested early. Right, that 4-minute power play, they only gave up one shot. It was Connor Garland in tight, and Pickard, gets down, pads are there, makes a save. He was very poised. He was very controlled. And I think you probably got to go back to him in Game 5 now. I don't think if Stuart Skinner, doesn't start 2 games, that means all of a sudden you've lost him for the postseason. Far from it. Right? Gives him a little bit more practice time. Gives him time to, decompress mentally a bit. And you move on. But that was a huge game last night for the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, wasn't a must-win game, but it was pretty close. It was a really needed win, not a have-to-win type of game. And so now they go to Vancouver. They got the momentum. As we've all seen, though, in the postseason, momentum can shift from game to game. Ask the Rangers. Ask the Florida Panthers. They had a chance to close out their series. Neither one of them did it. The Rangers 0-2 in elimination games so far in the series. So the Oilers are going to want to do what Carolina did in Game 5 and what Boston did in Game 5. Win on the road. Then the Oilers have a chance on Saturday night to take out the Vancouver Canucks if they can win tomorrow. So we'll see where that goes. But it was, overall, a solid game. I thought the Oilers did what they wanted defensively. Like, Vancouver doesn't press a ton. And when you watch that game yesterday, it illustrates how you shouldn't take for granted how good the Oilers are on zone entries on the power play. Now, I give Edmonton credit on their penalty kill. They pressured. But the Vancouver Canucks, their zone entries were ugly. Like, awful. How many times they had to circle back numerous occasions. Obviously McDavid's speed, you take it for granted just how easily he flies in. But even when Bouchard moves it to Draisaitl and he comes in the zone, Vancouver they are really struggling trying to get in the zone. That 4-minute power play, which could have been a turning point, right? It's not a great penalty for Kane at that point. I like the aggression, but you got to be a little bit more controlled with your stick, obviously. But the Oilers killed it off. Not only did they kill it off, Janmark had the best chance. He had the partial breakaway. The Oilers' penalty kill has been so much more aggressive. We saw it in the round 1 against LA, round 2 here as well. And you know what? I like the pressure. Brown, Janmark, McLeod, Fogle, all of them, Nugent Hopkins, all of them. You're pressuring. It's good. Now, when they get set up, right, you have to make sure that what's the term, the coaches are always using on the penalty kill. I want to get the term right. Front. I think that's what they call it. You want to front the shooter, right? So that's the big thing. Like, if you look at when they've scored on the power play, that's been an area where Edmonton, now you're going to break down. No power plays, no penalty kill is going to be 100%, but their penalty kill has been really good again. But their pressure up the ice, their pressure in the zone yesterday, Vancouver just didn't have an answer for it. And then 5-on-5, they didn't generate a whole bunch. Right? Like, the goal they get when it deflects off a guy like that, like, what are you supposed to do? There's not much I would do about it at all. So 833-401-1440 is the text line in our EUL inbox, 833-401-1440. Conman, what stood out for you last night?
Well, Greg, I definitely liked kind of what we talked about going to this game. They got to clean up play in front of their goaltending. That was something that I was watching for. You didn't have those kind of 5-alarm goofs in front of the goaltender, which I think made the job a whole lot easier. The response, obviously going down to goal or giving that goal back after leading 2-0, pretty disappointing. But the response was phenomenal. That was great to see, and it's just maybe another concern I have with the Vancouver Canucks. They linger. We talked about it on Fantasy Frenzy today, and I thought it was a good observation from one of our texters saying it's not maybe lingering, but they just have 4 good lines that they can roll out there. So for the Edmonton Oilers, One thing I'd love to see is maybe take that next step to just kind of squash the will somehow with the Vancouver Canucks. They do such a good job of getting back into it, but backs against the wall. You don't want to say it was a must win, but I was on that territory. I really didn't think you wanted to go back to Vancouver trailing 3-1, facing elimination in a tough building. So I thought it was huge, absolutely massive for the Edmonton Oilers to get that done in regulation. Don't even take it to overtime. And now we just turn our attention to Coach Knobloch and see where they go between the pipes. I'm with you. I would stick with Calvin Pickard for what he was able to do. I know he didn't have to face an extreme amount of shots, but thought he was solid. The game-tying goal, what's he supposed to do there? Off skates in front. There's bodies there. Not much you can do. So I would go back to Pickard and try to get him the victory on the road. I don't think it would be too much for him.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you can go back to Skinner just yet. I also, you know what? If Pickard keeps playing well, then you run with him. I think it's kind of that simple. And we've seen other teams. Pittsburgh won 2 Stanley Cups with goalies playing. Now, obviously, one year there was an injury, so he ended up playing more of the games. But they've split duties before. It happens. Colorado did it. 2022. Francouz played 6 games. Right? Didn't have huge numbers. And I get that Kemper was battling a little bit of an injury, but he also didn't play well. So I don't think they have to go back to Skinner right away. I do think we'll see Skinner at some point down the road, but I think tomorrow it's going to be Calvin Pickard. I think he's earned it. He played well, and you go with him. And then Skinner, when he gets his turn again at some point, if Pickard wins again on Saturday, I guess now if they win 6-5, then maybe that's a different story. But if you win and it's a low-scoring game, you probably got to let him ride it out, do you not? And they go from there. Who knows? Like the goalie position, man. I've said it. I said it all year long. I don't get too like the Vasilevskis and the before he was retired, Carey Prices. Like those guys are rare. From year to year, heck, from month to month. Sometimes you don't know. So we'll see. A guy stopped 9 out of 10 shots and just might win the Stanley from Dallas. Hey, maybe. Hey, boys, Bouchard has outplayed Hughes, and he's played like a number one, breaking playoff top 5 records. Pay him his money from Ontario Moments. Here's the thing. You know what? You guys can mention it, but I won't mention salary because it's irrelevant right now. You enjoy the moment. Can't sign a new contract until July. So talk about it then. In the meantime, enjoy how they're playing because otherwise, all you do is start worrying about the future. Who cares? We know the contracts are up. They'll get paid at some point. But it doesn't matter. That the money has zero, especially in the playoffs. There's no salary cap. Okay? Salary means nothing. There's no point talking about it in the playoffs. He's playing great. And that's, to me, all that matters. Hey, boys, what was with the Perry stick things? Funny but crazy from Andrew. Well, he just stood there. That's Corey Perry. Just, hey, you want to come through my stick? Go ahead. And it's Brock Besser. It's not like Besser was going to do anything. It was... Now I don't know if it was Perry or Curtis or Dale. I'm curious which photographer got that photo. Right? I got to see it. So, because obviously it was spread around all over the place, or maybe it wasn't even a photo. Maybe just somebody still shot it from the broadcast. I'm not sure, but obviously I was at the game, so I didn't see. But I will say that the photogs, they get some unbelievable pics in those games, man. It's unreal. 2:18. We got a busy Wednesday for you here on Sports 1440. We will talk lots of hockey. Rupper, of course, will be by later on. We're going to talk a little football. Elks training camp continues on. Also, how about the Moose Jaw Warriors? They have never won the WHL championship. They win in overtime last night. They're up 3-0 over Portland, and they are 1 win away from the franchise's first ever WHL title. It's going to be rocking in Moose Jaw tonight. I'm telling you, if you're close by, you should get a ticket. Although you probably can't get one now. It's going to be standing room only, sold out. Like that whole town is going to be going crazy. It's a long time coming, man. Like I don't think you really understand it unless you've lived or been in one of those small communities. It is huge deal for them because the small market teams have a little bit of a disadvantage, no question, right? You get a few kids and I don't want to play there. Like, give me a break, but whatever. And for them to be this close, Now, it's not over, but it's looking pretty damn good. Is Portland going to win 4 in a row? Possible, yes. Unlikely, for sure. So we'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Enio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Except when they talk hockey.
Mm-hmm. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhauk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving with savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports. We really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we were giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Building a new home? You may not need a residential elevator yet. But in the future, a Ram elevator could provide greater accessibility and even make your house more appealing to buyers. So book a consultation with Ram Elevators and Lifts and find out how to strategically place closets to save space that will accommodate the addition of an elevator when you're ready. Plan for the future in your new home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Wednesday afternoon. Happy hump day. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Gregor Show is always presented by playalberta.ca. Hey, Gregor, admittedly, I'm a rookie. How do I use the code? I want to try it. Just go to playalberta.ca. So you're a newbie, you'll sign up. And when you make a deposit, then the last you have a code. Then you use the code Gregor50. That's Gregor50. And you will get your free $50 wager. Playalberta.ca. Good luck. Use it wisely. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League, designed to elevate female youth hockey. The FSL will provide a platform for 12U and 12-14 girls to develop and improve their skills. If you want your daughter to play? Sign up today at femalesuperleague.com. As we are joined by Mike Kelly from the NHL Network and Sport Logic as the second round. For a moment there, it looked like it might be a short round, but all of a sudden the Hurricanes have won 2 in a row. The Boston Bruins stave off elimination on the road in Florida. The Oilers even up their series with Vancouver. And now suddenly the team that was down 0-1 in Dallas has the chance to end their series the quickest. Mike, when you dig into all of the numbers, is there one series that has surprised you, results compared to the numbers that you've crunched?
I guess Edmonton, Vancouver. I think Edmonton's been it wouldn't surprise me if Edmonton was up 3-1. I guess is what I would say about that. Close series. The Canucks have played well. They've kind of played to their identity for the most part, and you give them credit. They've done a pretty good job by and large of trying to slow Edmonton down. Like last game, Edmonton had 10 chances off the rush. It's the first time they hit double digits in the series, which, they usually can kind of do that in their sleep against a lot of teams. So probably that one. Rangers, Carolina, it's been a really close series. I don't really buy into Carolina's outplayed New York so much. I think if you're just looking at zone time and shots that you might come to that conclusion, but the Rangers have kind of done a lot of important things well. Dallas, Colorado is kind of what it is. That's probably on the biggest surprise of just the fact that it's 3-1 Dallas. But man, Colorado's really struggled to generate offense in that series. So I give the Stars a lot of credit. And obviously Colorado's, Nichushkin's gone now and Taves was out, and they've run into some issues there.
Yeah, the Nichushkin suspension, the Taves injury obviously came at a brutal time together. Now Taves is going to be back for Game 5 tonight for them, which is a big boost. I know you like to dig into the numbers, Mike, and Leon Draisaitl has 10 points in 4 games in this series. When the playoffs started, he had a career 1.61 points per game, which is very good. And the more games you play, it becomes a little bit harder. Yet here we are. And 9 games in, all of a sudden, he's up to 1.67 points per game in Leon Draisaitl. He had a little bit of a nagging injury. Obviously, it's nothing serious. But when you look at the numbers of points are very impressive. I think some people try to downplay points. I'm not one of those guys. I don't care. You produce points. I don't care if it's power play. I don't care what it is. You're producing. But it's his overall numbers and what's happening when he's on the ice, Mike, that illustrates he's one of the best playoff performers we've seen.
Yeah, no question ever. People show that graphic a lot of most points per game, with whatever the minimum games is, and it's Gretzky and Lemieux and it's Connor and Leon, right? And like Draisaitl, what was this, a couple of years ago when he had was it an ankle or a leg injury, something lower body, and he's kind of playing on one leg, and he was still brilliant. His combination, like the power play, the shot that he's kind of trademarked, that one-timer, is such a weapon. We saw it last game. But he's on a very short list, if not at the top of it, of the best passing forward in the game. So you kind of combine those things, and his puck protection ability, playoffs get more physical, right? More wall battles, more battles in general. You know this from watching him as much as you do, and it's sort of Oiler fans, maybe other fans don't. Like, he actually wants contact. He will, if there's a guy around him and he's got the puck, like, he'll lean into the guy and then make a play. So he's kind of built for the playoffs, I think, in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And it's like he gets better as it goes on. As it gets harder, he gets better. And that's why I think when we talk about who are the best players in the game. We do it every summer. We do it throughout the year. Like McDavid's the consensus number one. I think that's totally fair. In terms of forwards, I mean, I think Leon's got to be number two.
Ahead in McKinnon?
Look, it's splitting hairs a little bit.
But yeah, he'd be the only one, I think, because you can't put, no offense to Matthews, you can't put him in the category because he's not close come playoff time.
No, and Matthews has been really good. Like, he was hurt this past playoffs, whatever. His playoffs kind of have been what they are over the course of his career. I think he's just under a point a game. It's just like, okay, but I remember watching the playoffs last year and watching Jack Eichel elevate his game. And I'm like, man, that's something we haven't seen out of some other guys who you would say are better players, but I didn't know Jack had that gear in him, and we found it. There's some guys that are still kind of trying to find that next one, I guess, as great as they are. But that's the thing about Leon is that you know that when it comes time for playoffs, as great as he is in the regular season, he's going to be even better.
Mike Kelly joins us. You know, you mentioned the numbers. Obviously, goaltending, I think, is a main reason. We saw it for Edmonton. Stuart Skinner struggled at times, just and not because they were getting shelled, right? Like, that's the thing, Mike. Like, the Oilers haven't given up very much in the playoffs defensively 5-on-5.
No, they haven't. Just overall, they are first in the playoffs in expected goals against. That is the goal probability of the shots they allow. So if your goaltending kind of does what it's supposed to do, really they should be number one in goals against, which obviously they are not. And yeah, Stuart Skinner, this is the second playoffs for him where it's been really rough.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going through this last year, going into the final game against Vegas and just seeing how much Skinner had struggled and saying, you know, Campbell had kind of come in a couple times and done all right. It was like, do you go to Campbell? Because for me, if you have a known commodity, like if one thing is known and the other isn't, when it comes to something like this, where with Stuart Skinner for, again, the second year in a row, it's known that he too often is costing the Oilers games. Not winning them, but costing them games. And when it gets to that point, you got Pickard, and you don't know if he's going to come in and be any better. He might even be worse. You don't know. But you know with Skinner that he's costing the team games. It was that bad. So that's where, you know, I give Chris Knobloch a lot of credit for the decision he made, which obviously is not an easy one. But I think that's also kind of how conservative the sport can be sometimes when, oh, this is what we know. This is our guy, right? It was a smart move in my view. I said as much before the game, and Pickard was okay. He wasn't great. The Canucks had that surge, and he was really good. And so you'd say, yes, he played a good game. Kind of stopped where he should stop, and the Oilers were really good in front of him, and they won. He didn't win them the game, but he didn't cost them the game either.
Yeah, well, 100%, right? Like and the thing is, when you look at their number, Edmonton doesn't need their goalie to win them games. At least not yet. They might have to in the next round, but they really haven't needed their goalie. Other than, I guess, that game 4 against LA, Skinner was very good in the.
Yep.
That was. I would argue he won them that game. If I'm being fair here, he struggled in some games, but he won him game 4. But for the most part, you just need average goaltending. So, what do you make of Sheloff's and how he's played? Because, he's been solid. I didn't think he was solid in the first 2 games. Edmonton, scored 8 goals and 49 shots. But what are your numbers suggesting to you about Sheloff's and how he's played in this whole series?
He's been good. Again, not elite level by any means, but certainly good enough to keep Vancouver competitive. And I think based on what you're expecting of, I guess you could say your third string goalie, but even your backup goalie, you'd be happy with it. I don't think he's at all the reason that they lost the game. You can nitpick maybe 2 of the goals and say you'd like to have them. But at the same time, he's someone that, again, you don't have a big track record of at this level, but he's played in big. I think the World Championship in Latvia, where he was the MVP of the tournament last year, for him is probably even bigger than this, just given that it was in his home country and what that means to Europeans, especially. So I guess it's not surprising in the sense he doesn't seem fazed by it, but when all things are equal and Edmonton is kind of doing its thing, they're going to get more looks than Vancouver. They're going to get more shots. They're going to get more quality shots. He's been, I think, all that they could probably ask for him to this point. Mike
Kelly joins us. Vancouver and LA. LA had a ridiculously conservative approach offensively and made it way too easy for Edmonton to break out. I look at Vancouver, and defensively, Mike, they bunch in and they want to give you the puck all the time, and they're not generating hardly anything offensively. And this is, they did it against Nashville. They're not I just don't think how that's a winning approach. At some point, you have to attack offensively if you want to win in today's NHL, in my opinion. Where do you come up?
Yeah, I mean, we heard the frustration from, I think it was Kevin Fiala talking about the 1-3-1, right? Saying he'd kind of like to play something different. And in LA, 100%. In Vancouver, we've seen how many periods this year where they've had 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots. It's going to be tough. I think if it was that simple, though, and you say, oh, yeah, open it up and start trading chances, even more so with a team like Edmonton, you're not coming out on the right side of it. So I think it's kind of by design, and that, let's take our looks when we get them. The other thing is, like, who's going to do it? They've got, Miller has been really good, and Besser has been really good, and Pettersson's the guy you'd go to and say, well, I mean, he is not. And there's kind of 3 things with Pettersson that I wonder about. Number one, is he hurt? And does this even go back to the regular season where he finished, I think, with 8 goals in his last 40 or so games? Mm-hmm. We don't know. And then it's, well, who's he playing with? I mean, what's he supposed to do with Lafferty and Mikheyev on his wings? And, some other guys that he's played with. I don't think that's helped him either. And then the third thing is, well, what if it's just kind of him not being good enough? And the glaring thing to me with him is that he's not getting into the guts of the ice where you have to go to produce offense. Like he's played 10 games in the playoffs. He still doesn't have a shot from the inner slot. That's where half the goals get scored. Yeah. So, where are you going to get it from? I guess would be the thing if you're Vancouver. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know how they do it, right? Like they're going to try to win low scoring games. I think you can do it against Nashville, who had one line that can score. I don't think you can do it against Edmonton when you got McDavid and Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard right now. I don't think so either. Yeah. Give me your thoughts on Bouchard's playoffs overall. His number, like his regular season numbers were, I think, probably underrated if you compare it to other guys. Like if you look just at the numbers, and I know that's not everything you can look at, his numbers were very comparable to Cale Makar overall in a lot of different aspects. And some would argue maybe they were better. I still would say Cale Makar, I like him. I think he's a little bit more dynamic. But Evan Bouchard is emerging now. This is 3 playoffs in a row that he's been able to play better in the playoffs than he's done in the regular season. And he played really good in the regular season this year. Yeah, and again, you watch him all the time. I think you probably agree that kind of his overall game is a lot better. Like offensively, we know what he can do, and on the power play, he's incredible. The shot and everything, especially when he's been paired with Ekholm in this series. When they're together, slot shots are 21-5. Edmonton goals are 5-1. And Ekholm would be just the perfect guy for him to play with, right? Given what he can do, he's great defensively, but also a good puck mover. So yeah, his game, his ability to possess the puck in the offensive zone, even at 5-on-5, like take the power play away, it's up there with some of the top defensemen in the league. And you're only doing that if you've got the requisite amount of skill. There's a fire truck that's about to go by me here, so just bear with me for a second. I'm not on fire. So yeah, no, he's been great. I think the top 4 has kind of been really good, and like CC's had his struggles recently, and you kind of try to figure that out, move him around a little bit. But like I said, Edmonton's first in expected goals against in the playoffs. Bouchard's a big part of it. The whole team. Yeah. Oh, whole team. Yeah, and Bouchard's been. He's been excellent for them and scoring massive goals at key times with a shot that, like, everybody knows, like, he has a hard shot, but to me, it's the accuracy of his shot. Like, he can one-time pucks into the top corner consistently on the power play, which doesn't happen very often. And then if you look at his winning goal last night, Mike, he comes over from right to left, moving on his forehand, waits to get the open lane, and then a perfectly placed shot. Kevin Woodley always talks about that's where you want to shoot on the goalies, and he put it right in the perfect spot. Yeah, it sure did. And, traffic in front and all that. I thought Draisaitl made a great pass to get the puck there. And JT Miller talked about how he shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but you give credit to Draisaitl as well for making it happen. Like, I remember watching it live, and when he got the puck behind the net and he didn't really have anyone around him, I was thinking, this could be trouble. But to your point, it doesn't happen without Bouchard placing that puck as well as he did. So, he's been great offensively. When you're talking about, and again, I'm not lumping these guys all into the same level, but I guess as a tier, you're talking about Yossi and Makar and Hughes and Hedman, 6, 7, 8 guys, Fox, like Bouchard's in that mix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100% he is now. No question about it. Mike, we appreciate your time.
All right, great catching up with you. Take care.
You betcha. There's Mike Kelly from Sport Logic and the NHL Network. When we come back, we're going to get an update. I always like it because, we talk to athletes, before they go on big events and stuff. And then I always like to have a follow-up on how was it? I mean, how was it when you embarked? Like, Calvin Pickard, we talked to him before the game, but then we got to talk to him after the game. Right? How was it in the moment? Because you can think how it's going to be, but then sometimes it's better. Maybe sometimes it's worse. We'll talk about that next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
For 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. They got a new 2024
And
Sierra
for your Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealer.
Purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons.
Get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra $1,500 net dollar bonus on select trucks. Just 2 games.
It easy. Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings.
Time now for a Sports 1440
slap shot.
Molson Canadian.
And for your Sports 1440, it's brought to you.
So clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night.
Our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rock.
All of $100 bonus on select trucks. Can't get a better. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealer.
Civil engineer. So
Time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Get this, you can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Super Truck, flat out super. You can also receive a 12. Can't get a better amount. Your Alberta GMC dealers. Here is the Duke.
Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems.
The GMC dealers, you can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on
but I can promise that we'll combine our
purchase credit
technology and
a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. Check them out, gmcoffers.ca.
Genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off.
And for your
supply, see in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
When it comes to your heavy haul trailers, don't settle for a patch job that will fall apart after a hard day's work. Bring your unit to AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They'll solve the problem once and for all, keeping you working with limited interruptions. For 25 years, their experts have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for mining, oil and gas construction, and renewable industries. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The savings continue at the Bricks 10 sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
2:45 on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Hope you're having a lovely day. Man, it had a real downpour just before the show today, at least on the west end of Edmonton. Man, it was just coming down. So hopefully you weren't caught up in that. Everything's A-okay. Check your basements. If you were on the west side, could be you could just hear the water pouring off the parkade at West Edmonton Mall where the Ewell studios are located. So check your basement when you get home if you're on that side of the city. Just saying. Let's go in the room now. Brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, a heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and proud to sponsor numerous youth sports teams and charities. It's nextgentransportation.com. And our next guest, we have him back in studio. Happy to have him. Because when we talked to him, he had started out. This was back in November. He was getting set to go on tour for the first time with the Canadian Bobsled and on the World Cup tour. Divo McEwen joins us. Divo, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, you survived.
I did make it. Yeah,
you did make it. We've been talking about your training and everything, and how the Bob, obviously as a break guy, the pusher, right? Like it's all about strength and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but you were going on all these courses you'd never been on. Like you're going to cities you'd never been on. I guess kind of take me through it, because you'd done a lot of practice runs, but it was different there. Like how can you explain the excitement, nerves that first time on the top of your first run, the World Cup of bobsleigh?
Well, World Cup was sort of a different animal for me. So I had been on a few North American Cup circuits, the European Cup before the World Cup. So Park City and then Innsbruck was the European Cup over in Austria.
Okay.
Both of those tracks are pretty easy, so they're nice to go down. Like you get a little bit of nerves first time you go down any track. But first time for those, once you go down, you're like, oh, this is fine. After that is when it gets a bit of different. So Winterberg, Alterberg, and Germany were the World Cup. Those were my first two. Altenberg was a bit of a different animal for me. That was my first World Cup race, was in Altenberg. I did the two-man because our two-man guy wasn't able to go. So I stepped up a couple days early. They were like, hey, you ready to go on the two-man? I'm like, well, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, like that's the point. I'm here to race. So got in it, and first World Cup race, especially in Germany, lots of fans. Like all of a sudden,
oh, they love bobsleigh.
Yeah, they were all about it. So the fans were filled, and once I started, like once I got going with the sled and you're pushing it, and all of a sudden you can hear all the noise, it was pretty exhilarating. Like as I was going, I'm like, oh man, this is different. And then from there you hop in, and it's back to the simple pleasures of what you love about the sport, which is getting in, holding on, and just listening to basically the ice from that and waiting for the pilot to call brakes. So
now, you also experienced like your first legit crash, right? Like I saw the video of it, and like you guys, I want to say you slid. I don't know, half the track, maybe
about halfway.
Halfway the track. Yeah. So, and I always, now obviously for somebody and any of our listeners out there, like I don't have a lot of experience in bobsleigh. I've never ridden in one. It would be kind of thrilling, I think, if I could do it like maybe a quarter of the way down.
For sure, yeah.
But the Cool Runnings one is the one I always remember. They have the video and they're wiped out, and it's funny, right? They're talking upside down. But I'm guessing it's a little bit different when you're going as fast as you guys are. So take me through it and how nerve-wracking it is if you can recapture that moment of when you're like, oh bleep, we're in trouble.
Yeah, so I had crashed in the two-man in Whistler when we were going pretty fast on that one, but I've never crashed in the four-man. So part of it was like it's a sport where it's not really if you'll crash, it's sort of when.
Okay.
And with the four-man, I was kind of like, well, I'd like to experience it soon here because it's sort of building up in my mind. I didn't want to experience it on race day, but I did the two-man the day before, and then first run on the four-man about, I think it was around corner 8, all of a sudden it just sort of, it's not like as crazy as you may think it is. You just sort of, all of a sudden you're like tipped over and you're like, oh, that's it. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I think we've crashed. And suddenly it just gets real loud. You're on your head and for part of it. And then, yeah, you've seen the video. There is a portion where we're pretty much upside down.
Yeah.
The sled is basically on us. And
like you're basically, it looked like you were sliding on your helmets.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like I try and get as close into the sled as I can. And that's what we're all doing. And I'm usually, for me, I was just looking ahead, making sure, is everyone good in front of me? And then,
so it's not really that uncomfortable.
It is like you are waiting for hits to come.
Oh, okay.
And so you are ready to be like bang into a wall, that kind of thing. Like you're waiting for it, but it isn't as bad as you may build it up in your head. Like I sort of was before then. And there was some bad crashes in training that week. So there's a little bit of nerves before the race, just knowing that.
Like bad crashes for you or other teams?
Other teams. There's some injuries that week in Altenburg. So there was a little bit of nerves with that. But once we did it, and then like as it comes to a gradual stop, you're kind of like, you can hear everything a bit better. You talk with everyone. And there is like a point where you're able to talk with each other. And yeah, for me, like first thing I thought as we were going down, I'm like, oh, this is so like get it over with. But the other thing is it is televised. So I was thinking pretty quick. I'm like, my parents are watching this. And I'm like, I hope they know like this, like once I get out, yeah, like I gotta let them know like I'm good. But yeah, like my family is watching. I thought about that pretty quick. So yeah.
Divo McEwen joins us talking. Of course, he was on his first tour this year, aspiring Olympian for Canada on the bobsled. So you have that crash. Do you guys go over it and look and say, okay, what happened? Like what causes a crash?
So the pilots do, they'll sort of assess kind of how it happened. Tay, like going down with Taylor, that's one of my favorite parts about being lucky enough to be on his team this year. He's so experienced and is a very good pilot that like, I knew it sucked that it happened when it did. Cause if it had happened in training, I think he probably would have fixed it pretty quick, but it happens to anyone, honestly. And so he definitely would have looked at it after, checked kind of what happened. And I think basically as far as we understood, he came late into the corner, and the way it works with pressures, he came out of it a bit later than he wanted to. And it just tops you over basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, how would you evaluate your first year on the tour?
For me personally, I feel really lucky with how it went, and I couldn't have asked for much more. Being able to even just do World Cup races, both 2-man and 4-man, was huge for me. But then World Championships in Winterberg, like not many guys get to do that in their first year. And I know for me, a lot of it is circumstantial. A lot of it is a lot of hard work too. But like I couldn't complain at all with how my season went. And then as a team, we ended up getting 5th in Lake Placid on the World Cup for our last race. And it ended up being a 1-heat race, but in the second heat, before they had ended up deeming it 1 heat, we were climbing the ranks into like a podium position. So that was super exciting. We ended off on a high note, and World Champs, we had a good result there too. So for us as a team, and for me personally, super positive, really happy with how it ended up for sure.
So of course the goal is to qualify for the 2026 Olympics, which comes in February. So now I'm doing the math quick. It's like 21 months away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this off season, I know you're living in Calgary now. Yeah. You train down there. The ice house opens in June. So, that's when you can slide and be pushing again.
Yeah.
Because I know for a lot of Olympic athletes, you have like, it's basically, we know what our goal is here. Like you'll qualify next year, right?
Yeah, it'll be 2025 fall.
Yeah, the fall of 2025. Yeah. So the next year, this coming year, the fall from 2024 to the spring of 2025, like, is it just working on all just technique, getting a little bit like shaving off hundreds of thousands of seconds? Is that really all it is for you?
Essentially, I mean, before, it would have been we're trying to knock off tenths. Now it's hundredths, that kind of thing. I still have personally, like physically, I have a lot of potential that I think I can still get to. And with technical aspects of pushing, I think there's a lot to unfold there too. And just even sprint mechanics, I think there's a lot for me to work on this off season. So I've been sort of hitting that.
Do you work with a sprint coach?
In Calgary, yeah, with our coach there, we are working on just getting me.
So short white guys can sprint.
That's what I'm trying to show that. Yeah, that's my big thing. Yeah.
Now, and I'm joking. Obviously, anybody who's watching on YouTube, like you can tell, you don't miss many arm days. I'm just looking. I'm just looking over there. Rather large there, but like, and you're like one of those guys who likes training, right?
Yeah.
Like you enjoy that's part of the job, but that's like a fun part for you. So. How has your training changed though? Because you never really trained to be a bobsled before. So what's been the biggest adjustment in the off-season training for you?
So for me, there is a lot like lower body stuff, obviously. Sprints and having to incorporate that in with doing like legs like we do it's different for sure. So we've been doing more sprint workouts like 2 to 3 times a week. That's more regularly what we would do. And it is taxing to do that a lot.
And so like, did you have a time when you started and then like, do you see your progression?
Yeah. So I mean, even just mechanically, initially it's sort of like a baby deer trying to do stuff, like just trying to learn how to walk. It's it's difficult at first and it's a lot of thinking. I'm getting to a point where I'm getting a bit more comfortable with some of it, but there's still a lot for me to work on.
So like, what are the things that you're thinking about in this sprint training? Like, is it foot placement? Is it where you're lifting your knees? What is it to become a better sprinter?
Like foot strike, that kind of stuff. Just a lot of the mechanics of, and it's for this specifically, like pushing. A lot of it is working on acceleration. I have a tendency to immediately try and cycle and just get into like full speed where you gotta like drive out and build out a bit more. And so that's what a lot of I'm working on.
You're working on not being, 3 steps out of the gate.
Yeah.
I want to be progressive. So when I get to step 10, now I'm at my max.
Yeah. Basically we're trying to get where I'm using that drive phase to get that sled going a lot more and then get into cycling further down the ice than I do. So
now how much quicker are you? Having done this training for the last 8 months, have you timed yourself? Have you seen gains?
I haven't really. Like I've seen the results in the ice house. I've seen those get better consistently. So that's been promising. As far as the actual sprints themselves, I mean, my times at camp last year, I wasn't thrilled with just because I was pretty new to really just sprinting.
So like what's the time? Like what are you doing like a 30? Is it a 40?
You're doing like a 30. That's
30
generally what we're
sprint?
going off of. And so I'm trying to go into this next camp with trying to do a lot better in that regard. So
what would be like, because we see like a 4.340 for football players, right? Everyone's like a 4.1 or the super fast guys. Like a 30, obviously you have less time that you're generating. So like what's considered in bobsleigh a good 30 time?
I mean, the standard is sort of 3.9, but if anything below that, you want to get below that for sure. An average is around 3.7, 3.8, I think is generally in like my little bit of experience that I have. I think that's where you want to be, but there's guys, the really fast guys can get down to about a 3.6, that kind of thing.
3.6.
Yeah. So
what's a realistic goal for you then?
I'm trying to get into like the 3.7s.
Okay.
That's kind of my goal this year. And hopefully if I can get there.
And it's funny, like 3.7, 3.9, it doesn't seem like it's that far away.
No, but
it's pretty far.
It's big,
it's like going from shooting, like being a 75 to suddenly wanting to get to be a 72.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of repetition over and over. Now, the other thing I've heard is you guys are looking to get a new bobsled.
I'm not really. Like we do have lots of different things in the work. We're just
because the technology, I'm guessing, changes so quickly in a bobsled, and really, like, not that the sleigh makes the racer, but it helps you, right? Like it's part of it. The more aerodynamic, the lighter, all the different things. Well, maybe not lighter, but because you obviously have a weight limit on it. But like, and I know you're new to it, but when you talk to like Taylor and veteran guys, like how different are sleds that are made now compared to even 3 years ago?
So you can see it for sure. There is a difference when you're on tour, especially on the World Cup. You can see a difference in different sleds. But as a country too, we do have pretty good technology with that. So we are lucky in that regard. Compared to other countries, we have terrific stuff going on. So, but we're obviously, everyone come towards Olympic years. Everyone wants to be at their best. And just like anything that we're doing, I think all of that is important to us. So we're we're exploring all avenues with things. So
now I know you've moved to Calgary now as an Edmonton Oilers fan. How are you enjoying the playoffs in Calgary?
So actually, the funny thing is, I've always been an Oilers fan, obviously, just because. I mean, you grow up here. Unless you're being really rebellious, you're likely to be an Oilers fan. So I've always been an Oilers fan, but now in Calgary, like they're not in it. I feel more connected to the Oilers than I ever have. I'm like, yeah, you guys are all just like watching the Oilers now, and reluctantly you have to. So for me, it's exciting. It's
Are
awesome
a few of
to
your
watch.
teammates like are they fans of other teams?
Yeah, so a lot of them are. So
Any Canuck
everyone's
fans?
from different places. Any of my guys on my team, like on Team Austin, I don't think so. Shane's from Edmonton. A couple of guys are from out east. So Calgary or Taylor would be probably considered more of a Flames fan. But
probably doesn't say much then. Does it?
No, we just everyone tries to avoid the subject, I think. So.
Well, thanks for the update, man. We really appreciate it. I like kind of keeping tabs of the athletes who we have on the show and see how it's going. And, you know, it's unreal to me to see somebody who, you know what, who's an athlete. And there's lots of people that are Olympic athletes that get into different sports a little bit later on. And so I'll follow it. Good luck in the ice house training. And
for sure.
I'm very intrigued to see, like, for young kids who, like, now that you know how to sprint properly, even though you haven't mastered it, you think about how much would it help you in football and other sports, right?
Yeah, there is honestly, there is really no sports. No, I mean, there is sports that isn't as necessary, but anything that you're using your feet, using speed, for sure. If you can get a chance to work with someone to help you get better in that regard, it's going to help you for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Divo, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. Continued success.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Divo McEwen. That's in the room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. That's an unreal story. The crash was great. We watched it online, but the thing about that, you have a 2-year plan now to get to the Olympics. That's what makes the Olympics to me. Now, I don't love the bureaucracy of the Olympics. I've always said it. I'd rather them just pick 4 cities for each and just rotate around, right? So you don't have cities and citizens, putting huge money in for a one-time thing and then it's ruined. But when you consider the commitment by the athletes to basically say, we know our whole goal now is you outline it for the next 2 years, and really in a lot of cases it's 4 years, right, to see where they go. So it'll be fun to watch Team Austin and Divo McEwen. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice and Strawberry Lovers. Well, they have everything there, but right now they got strawberries galore, and they are tasty. You can try the new Strawberry Blush smoothie. Sip, blush, and savor as you fall in love with this new flavor. Only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just one game on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoff. Stars taking on the Avalanche just after 6 o'clock. Dallas with a chance to wrap up this series, leading 3-1. In the association, the Boston Celtics, they'll try to do the same as they host the Cavaliers at 5 o'clock, leading 3-1. At 7:30, the Mavs in OKC to take on the Thunder. That series tied at 2 games apiece. In the majors, the Jays earlier today falling to the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. Jordan Romano blowing the save opportunity in that one. Elsewhere, as the Brewers over the Pirates 10-2. White Sox drop the Nationals 2-0, and the Marlins beat the Tigers by that same score. Right now, a few games underway. Reds, Diamondbacks tied at 1 apiece heading into the 7th. In the 4th, the Rockies have a 5-0 lead over the Padres, and in the 3rd, Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Royals. Later tonight, Phillies host the Mets, Rays in Boston, Braves take on the Cubs, the Yankees in Minnesota, Rangers up against the Guardians, the Athletics take on the Astros, Giants, Dodgers, and Cards in Anaheim. In the WHL, Moose Jaw tries to complete the sweep as they'll host Portland just after 7 o'clock. Leading 3-0 in that one. PWHL playoffs, Minnesota looking to stay alive as they take on Toronto, trailing 2-1. Tough news for Toronto. Natalie Spooner will miss the remainder of the playoffs with a knee injury. And in the WNBA, 2 games tonight, Wings Sky, and you'll also have the Dream taking on the Sparks in Long Beach. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some Oilers Canucks and be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice
Greg,
venue
I
today
definitely
or
like kind of
download the Booster Rewards app.
talked about going to this game. They got to
Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience.
Welcome back, Wednesday.
There, maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9. Check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening.
Investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds. Recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our biggest sale of the year. This month, every new and used vehicle we have has been marked down and priced to sell. We have Ram trucks that are 25% off, brand new trucks, and we have hundreds to choose from. We have 0% financing up to 72 months on Grand Cherokee. Even though we know our prices are great, every single offer will be considered. We will work to get you the best financing terms. We will pay top dollar for your trade. We will do what it takes to earn your business. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it's on now at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
As the snow melts and the flowers bloom, don't let sunken concrete dampen your spirits. This spring, Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling is here to lift your spirits and your concrete. With our quick, friendly lifting process, we're ready to tackle those trip hazards and water pooling problems head on with our vast knowledge and expertise. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438.
3 o'clock. It is the Wednesday edition of the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks as always for joining us. It's presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Lotto 649. Are you feeling lucky? Well, go to PlayAlberta.ca. Get your tickets. Not only, hey, you want to play the games, casino, whatever, but $48 million and a guaranteed $1 million today. Nobody won last night. So guess what? Friday, the Lotto Max, $65 million. Woo-hoo. Come on. I want one of our listeners to win. I really do. That'd be amazing. But then you'd have to tell us. I wouldn't tell anybody else. Just be a secret. Because I get that would probably be a hard part of it. You win it, and then if people know, yikes. Never bug the person if you hear they win. That's what we'll say. Make that like a station rule. You won't reach out to some stranger. Hey, I heard you won the lottery. You want to give me a few grand? Probably wouldn't be great. Coming up later on this hour, we will hear from Yaremchuk. We got Mike Rupp, James Gallo. How about the Moose Jaw Warriors? No surprise, they're in Game 4, a chance to hoist the the WHL, the Ed Chanel Trophy tonight in the Jaw, and it's. I was watching part of the highlights last night from that game because obviously it was at the Oilers game, and a thrilling win in overtime. It's for that small community. It's hard to put into words what a big deal it's going to be. Like, if the Oilers win a Stanley Cup now, many of you're going to go crazy. And there's a massive amount of people, right? But like the Moose Jaw Warriors in a small community like that, like it's a big deal. It is. It would be like their Stanley Cup, honestly. Yeah. You just have more people in the city of Edmonton. But like, did you see when they arrived from Portland after being up 2-0? Like the streets were lined, people were welcoming them. It's amazing. It's great to see, and it's good for those small communities. It's what keeps the WHL going. Right? You need a team like Moose Jaw winning. Not going to win all the time, but man, they won now. They'll be that'll help them. I know Prince Albert, when they won the league a few years ago, they ended up getting a new scoreboard that hadn't been updated for decades, just because they have a little extra money because the cash infusion, they put it back into the facility, which is great. So we'll get to all that. Spec will be by. Also, maybe Geno Lewis will join us. Green and gold. They're into the dog days of training camp. They don't really have 2 days very much anymore. Kind of outlawed that for the most part. But the CFL, following the footsteps of the NFL, they will be the cap helmets if you want to wear them. The caps on your helmet during games, you can. Lots of players use them in practice, and it'll be up to them if they want to use it in a game. 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. EWEL.ca, your one-stop shop for all your electrical needs. Hey, guys, I think the mental game is far more draining today than it was 15 years ago. I think the days of giving your goalie a mental break like Skinner needed will be far more frequent from Grant. You could be right. I guess my question would be, in what way is the game more mentally draining today than it was prior? I'm curious. How would we view it as more mentally taxing? Now, if you say social media, sure, but that would be your choice as an athlete in the playoffs to go on social media. I don't think you would. Well, at least I hope you wouldn't. Like, why would you? Right? There's because for whatever reason, human nature, for most people, you can have 10 positive comments. You see one negative comment, and that's what you focus on. It's kind of like when people analyze games. Good play, good play, good play. Bad play, oh my God. Good play, good. Oh, geez, that was a really good play. You know what I mean? Like, we react more intently for bad plays than good plays. It's human nature. I'm not sure why. But, yeah, I'd be curious. Maybe there's something else. Cons, do you have an idea why you think the game would be more mentally draining today?
Maybe tougher to get away from the game in a sense. Like if you're looking big picture, it's tough to, I guess there's more sports, social media. You can eliminate yourself from it, but you are more accessible than ever before. But that would be the only thing that would come to mind for me.
Yeah. So basically, like, if you don't have the apps on your phone, you're not going to see them. Right? Like, I know lots of players who literally delete, because if you have it on your phone, you'll look at it. It's like people when you have an ex, it's like delete their number, because most of you, let's be honest, you haven't memorized it. How many numbers could you say off the top of your head right now, people in your phone? If all of a sudden your phone blew up and you had to call 5 people, are there 5 phone numbers that you know? Like some people, now most people would probably know their partner's number, I would assume. But let's say you're dating for 4 months, you might not. Right? You put it in once. Right now, you just text Schnookums, Honey Bunch, whatever little pet name you have for them, right? But do you really know their number? How many people right now, if you're in a relationship that is under 4 months, do you know the number of the person you're dating without looking it up? I'm going to guess at least 70% of people don't. And that might be low, Cons.
Do you know your wife's?
Well, yeah, but we've been together for a long time.
I don't know mine.
You don't know her phone number?
No.
I like your honesty.
I think I know the last 4 digits, but and the first 3.
Yeah.
Those are 3 in between.
So you know the area code.
Yeah.
And you know the last 4.
Yeah.
You know the 833-1440. That's what you know, basically.
I could name more of my friends' phone numbers from my childhood than their friends now.
Yeah, that's fair. Right? Like there are some numbers for sure like that. But and so my point is, and some people are like, I'm like, just delete their number. If you deleted it, you wouldn't be tempted. How many of you have done a drunk text? Or, I'm feeling lonely. Now I'm going to send a text. And once you send it, you're like, oh my God, why did I send that? Right? You can't pull it back. It's out there. It's gone. So if you're an athlete, you can't tell yourself, I'm not going to look on Twitter. I'm not going to go on TikTok. I'm not going to go on Instagram. The only way to for sure not do it is to delete it from your phone during the playoffs. And that's what I'd recommend. Right? If I was them, because even if you don't see a lot, eventually somehow it's going to pop up. If you had a bad game or whatever, that's all you're going to see. So I would totally not do it. But now that I say that, my 70% might be low. Because you've been married now for almost a year. You have been dating for what, 5?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, so 5 years and you don't know her number. Does she know yours? Well, I would say call her, but we can't because you don't know her number.
Probably. I think she does. Mine's a little easier. Mine has some indicators. It's got the date of my birth and...
What? You got your birthday in your phone? I didn't know that.
Just the 12th.
Oh, okay.
On the 12th. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And then something else. I can't give it all away, though.
No. Hey, guys, I don't know my spouse's number, but ask me about my childhood friends' numbers from the 80s from Ubo Rob. See, it's true.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because back then you had to memorize it. It was funny. We were having this conversation the other day about how things change over time. And, I was explaining to my son, like, we were having a conversation about we used to have a party line. Like when I grew up on the farm, we had a party line. Young people today are like, what? And I remember trying to explain to my nephews one time, and they're like, what do you mean other people had the same phone as? Well, no. So for those who don't know, a party line was, so we shared it with 3 other households. The phone would ring. If it went bring, that was like the Talma's house. If it went bring, 2 rings, that was calling our number. And then if it was 3 brings in a row, it was calling the other house. And that's how it worked. And so now you have to be honest here. If it rings and it's your number, then you would pick up the phone and it was the receiver. And then there would be the little white knob and you would pull it up and okay, now you're connected. But the thing was, the other houses, if they wanted, they could pick up the phone and just listen because it was a party line. And there were certain times I could tell when one of my neighbors would listen. I'd be like, excuse me, can you hang up the phone? Because you could hear him. Because you would hear because some people, I was just like, what are they doing? So yeah, that was a party line. So, we had the dial phone. Like I remember when we lived in Leduc and we had Leduc always had 986 and our number was 986-954-9429. And so you had to go 9 all the way around. Anybody who's had the road, what is it? The rotary phone. I think that's the proper term. But then we got a punch pad phone. And you had the numbers on the dial, kind of like on your phone now where you just dial them in, but the buttons were elevated. You poke the numbers. Well, dude, I could call a number now in like 3 seconds. It was amazing. That to me was like a win. And then eventually you got to cordless phones because you used to have the phone. Like some people in their house, especially when they had teenagers, would get the phone that had the super long cord so you could stretch it and go talk in private in your room. Otherwise, you had to stand there. Like the phone was in the kitchen. And if you didn't have a long cord on it, you're on the phone. Everybody else in the family, like if you had a bit of, 3-4 kids, you got no privacy. So, yeah, it's different for sure. Oh, my God. Hey, guys, I think the pressures of sports come from larger contracts, more media coverage, the scrutiny of every goal, and just the skill set to move into perfect ankles because of the pace and shot velocity. It's become a grind, especially being a goalie. Well, there's some interesting point. Now, the larger contracts, I'm not going to put that into the conversation because in the playoffs, no one gets paid. But more media coverage, yeah, there is for sure. Right now, there's been talk radio for a long time. There's maybe less papers, but there's more internet. Right? There used to be 3-4 beat guys. So yeah, there's probably a little bit more overall, I would think. But again, you only have 10 minutes to talk to the media, and if you don't read it, then it doesn't impact you. Right. And nowadays, like the rooms used to be open and you could talk to whoever you want. Now, basically, after a game, there's a list of like 3 players. Practice, you get a list of 3 or 4. Sometimes, the Oilers are actually better than a lot of organizations where you can get some one-on-ones at times with players. Some other organizations are like, no, you can't do that. It's somewhat embarrassing. But the Oilers are actually, Jamie Cartmel, I give him a huge shout out. He's actually very good. And Andrew Peart, they're very good at that. So. Hey, Gregor, I think your 70% is way low. Put me in the list of people who do not know my wife's number. Married, #17 years. 17. So, have you forgot it? Right? Because I get why. You're like, well, I don't need to memorize it. It's in my phone. But yeah. So, hey, guys, I'm in a 10-year relationship. I haven't got a clue what her number is. Yeah, see, maybe I was wrong. Like, some of you got to know. Don't you? I can't believe Cons. What about Declan? Is he not in over there? Does he know his girlfriend's number?
No. He's a no.
Unbelievable. Well, I know Carius doesn't because he barely knows how to put the numbers in the phone. So there's no chance he does. Man. Yeah, so 70, I guess I was I still think 70%. I'm probably going to go with it. But hey, guys, I only know my own number. True story. I actually met someone the other day who misplaced their phone. I was like, well, here's my phone. Call your phone. He's like, I don't know my number. And I'm like, pardon? Like, Hans, you know your own number.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like I would think, how could you not know your own number? That one caught me off guard. So.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey, boys, did you talk about what Perry did last night? He holds his stick up, preventing Besser from getting his scrum and gives him a psycho stare. It's one of the funny things I've ever seen from Richard. It was comical. What about Draisaitl? When Lindholm was like, yeah, I'm going to get you. And Draisaitl, did you see his reaction? Like, he got the whole double hand, like, ooh. Draisaitl is actually pretty funny. He has, like, I like to call him the grumpy German because some days he's grumpy, but he also has, he has a pretty good sense of humor. Like, he is a subtle, good chirper on the ice, right? Like, he's not going to fight. He never has to fight. I don't mind that, right? Like, not every guy has to fight, but he's not afraid to chirp. And, like to me, that's a very good comeback that doesn't require, like, there's nothing derogatory. You're not swearing, you're not making some lame gutter joke. Right? You just come back to body language like, ooh, I'm scared. There's not much else you can do about it. It's great. Hey, boys, married 16 years, other than childhood friends numbers. Hers is the only one I know. Well, there you go. What about your kids? Hey, guys, my kids are adults. I honestly couldn't call them if I didn't have my phone. So that's an interesting. Like, I would think you would know your immediate family. Like, I know my siblings' phone numbers. I know my mom because it's the same number I grew up with on the farm. But I also know her cell number. I know a few of my, but I'm good with numbers. So I would say in my phone, we'll have a lot of contacts, but I'm saying there's probably at least 20 people I could call without having to have my phone. Like, if somebody just gave me another phone, I could call them. I think there's at least 20 if I go through my head. So now some of them being, same number for a long time. It's good. Hey, guys, don't any of those people memorize their spouse's number for the old points collector at the grocery store? Well, nowadays they're like, hey, are you a member here? And you're like, no. Like, are you a member on anything? Like, I hate it. I'll be honest. I have like what membership card? Like I have a Visa. I have like air frequent flyer points. And like I used to have a Safeway club card, but they changed it now. Like I think it's a scene card and I don't have one. So I'm like, I don't want to sign up for it. I probably should, but I don't. At any store that I go to shop, because I don't shop a lot, but when I do, they're, oh, do you want to be a member? I'm like, no. Like I'm probably losing out on potential points down the road, but I just don't like doing it. Do you sign up at the stores?
Yeah, I love it. I save on more for sure. PC Optimum. I've got $50 in points there.
I do have a PC Optimum card.
Scene card I got because I want to get rewards. I was telling.
But have you ever cashed in your rewards? What kind of rewards are you getting?
I haven't yet. Because I'm saving up the PC ones. That's where my big one is, $50. I mean, that could be grocery was one day in a rainy day, maybe.
Okay, so you're saving up for how many points do you need for $50? Like you have to spend like $50,000 to get $50?
Well, you can get bonuses. You get it when you buy fuel every time, so you get points that way. So I like to go there for gas.
But so you still haven't you're waiting to cash in for $50 savings, and you've had this for how long?
Probably a couple of years. Like a lot of people will just spend it immediately.
Okay.
I'm a saver. The McDonald's rewards app, I've actually been guiding young Declan in the way of those, trying to get him to get there because you can get some free iced coffees out of it. Yeah, I love that.
Can you get a free Big Mac? What about a cheeseburger? Can I get a free cheeseburger? If not, we're going to talk to Joe or Chad at McDonald's. We might have to get in this conversation because if I can get a free cheeseburger, now you've got me intrigued.
Well, they got the grimace shape coming. Your rewards, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can get a cheeseburger for sure. 4,000 points. I could get one for you right now.
Oh, so you have it?
Absolutely.
But you're saving up your points.
I'm running a little low.
You're like a point. Oh, you do actually. So you do use your McDonald's points.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what?
Sounded like for a second that maybe you were like a points hoarder.
Any size iced coffee for 2,000 points, steal of a deal. I've got 4,000 points, so yeah, I like to use it.
I got a lot of people texting in that they knew that you had 4,000 points for a cheeseburger, so they're on it. Maddie,
people know,
and Paul and Steve, you guys are right in on your points. I like it. Awesome. 4,000 points for a cheeseburger.
Look at Dan. I get probably $500 in PC groceries every year.
Ooh, look at Dan. Big saver, Dan. Hey, you're right. Now, does my wife have one? Yes. And then sometimes I will say, yeah, and I just give her number, and then it comes up. So technically I do, but I don't have to sign up for it. I don't know why. I'm just I don't like signing up for things. I don't like doing it. And call me archaic, call me old. That's fair. It's probably valid. I just don't like doing it. When we come back, our next guest, I wonder, he just got engaged. Does he know his fiance's number? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
Heavy hauling in the worst of climates can be dreadful. Take the stress off the job with AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They redefine heavy hauling with premium heavy haul trailers designed, manufactured, and battle tested in the harshest of conditions. And if your heavy haul trailer has issues, their full service and frame inspections will tell you exactly what's wrong and why. They take the guessing out of repair work with quality engineered frame repairs that get you back working quick. Discover the difference at AccuSteel.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Mr. 305, Flow Rider and Lunch Money, 3 Miami boys, you know what time it is. Give me the green light, cause I'm ready to go. Let's have a good.
.331 Sports 1440 Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. I really like the honesty. Like my 70% number based on the text line is pretty accurate. Might even be a little bit low. Say 8 out of 10 texters like, yeah, I don't well, most of you at least know your spouse. Like Connor Halley. It's got a little bit of a matzo ball he's got. Like you know what, we'll do a test. Let's see if by next week you can memorize your wife's phone number. Okay? You got a week. Next Wednesday, of course, I won't ask you the number to say on air, but I'll write it down. I'll say it, and you're going to write it down and pass it towards me. All right? Like, it's a week.
Yeah, it's super easy to memorize. That's no problem.
Yeah. Did you just, like, what are the 3 middle digits? You just looked it up. What are they?
I don't want to put it out there on air. She's
it's
extreme.
3 middle digits. That doesn't mean what the first or the last is.
It's in this order. 2, 6, 3. It's those 3 digits in any order.
In any order? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. There we go. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Hey, trust me, they'll make it even easier. You can download all your contacts right into the phone. Hey, call Connor. Call Lovey Dovey. Like what's her pet name in your phone? Because I know you got one, right? Whatever it is, Schnookums, Honey Bunch, whatever it is.
Do you do that?
Do I have one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's easier. Mm-hmm. So
you know who it is then.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, no one else is going to have it. Now, it's some of the name. Now, mine isn't really a overly lovey-dovey one, but still, it's good. But everybody has one. And that Volvo, that car has everything. It'll even keep you in the lane when you're on the road and you're trying to find your phone because you're like Connor, you don't even know the number of the person you're trying to call. Hands-free. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Tyler Yaremchuk joins us now. He's newly engaged. Guessing he knows his fiance's phone number.
Oh yeah, I do. I know hers because similar to you, I got to use it at like Save on Foods and for the Optimum card and stuff. So I have it memorized, but I have a few numbers memorized. Like again, just because I grew up in the era where like both my parents had cell phones, right? So like I had both my parents' phone numbers, recognized the old home phone number. Like obviously you have that one banked. So I got a couple up there.
Okay. Like, do you think you could go into double digits of memorized phone numbers? Like any of your coworkers?
No, God, no. No one I've met in the last, excluding my fiance, no one I've met in the last 15 years do I have their phone numbers memorized. It's family and Amber.
Oh, all right. There you go. That's probably valid. Like none of your childhood buddies?
Actually, my one childhood buddy, I remember the last 4. I couldn't tell you the first 3 though.
So you don't know.
No,
you're like Connor. He only know. Yeah, he knew the area code and the last 4 digits of his wife's number, but not the middle 3. So basically, you don't know her number.
Yeah.
Now, hey, the Edmonton Oilers, Evan Bouchard, 3 game winners. First one was in the 1-0 win over LA. Then the overtime winner against the Canucks in game 2. And then with 39 seconds left, like not all game winners are created equal, but those 3 are huge goals. Evan Bouchard is having himself one hell of a playoffs. He's playing 27 minutes and 51 seconds per game in this series. He's on for, he's out when he's on the ice. They've outshot the Canucks 48-15. They've outscored them 5-1. Evan Bouchard, as good as he's been offensively, his defensive game has really taken strides in this series.
It's the whole thing for him. And the thing with Bouchard, I know there were some tough moments throughout this season. I also think some of them were maybe magnified a little bit because of the moments they happened in the game as well. Think about that Matthews play, the McKinnon play, things like that. But I think as the year went on, he kept getting better and better in his own end. And this year, like, he's the perfect example of, in a way, it's different, but like, you know, the best defense is a good offense. Like for Evan Bouchard, the best way he can defend is by getting the puck quickly and efficiently out of his zone and not having his group get hemmed in their own end. So he's been doing that excellently. He's done that the entire playoffs, this entire season. And I mean, the clutch scoring really is something. Like Panarin has 4 game winners on the year, but then it's Bouchard right up in that group with 3. Only him and Barkov have 3.
Yeah, he's been excellent for the Oilers. You know what? It was obviously a tough one for them. They have a 2-0 lead in the third period. Garland, who I thought was Vancouver's best player, you know, gets a little bit of a lucky bounce, goes in off of Nurse. The Oilers have had a few of those, including Bouchard in overtime. So they all count in the playoffs. But you know what? I didn't think Edmonton sat back too much in the third. They didn't like, as Ekholm said, I would have loved to just close it out at 2-1. But man, like you were in the building, I think, last night, Ty. Like, you talk about a massive range of emotions in the building when the Canucks scored. Obviously, there were some Canucks fans that were going crazy, but the rest of the building was pretty silent. And then within a minute, it's going absolutely, crazy because the Oilers, even though they gave up the 2-goal lead and then they gave up one in the last 2 minutes, I thought that shift by Kane, Holloway, and Draisaitl really good coaching by Knobloch. You put out 2 guys who had fresh legs in Kane and Holloway who hadn't played. And they didn't sit back and say, let's just get to overtime. They went on the offensive and it worked.
No, and I think the flip side of that too, like, again, the hard forechecking, Kane lays the big hit, Draisaitl and Ekholm both made plays at the blue line to help keep the puck in. Like, the Oilers went out there with the message of, let's be aggressive, let's quickly try to end this thing. Vancouver, for whatever reason, felt like they were right back on their heels. Like, when Draisaitl made that pass to Bouchard, Vancouver almost looked like they had no interest in going behind the net to get him. And the lesson they learned is if you give Draisaitl 2.5 seconds or however long it is to sit there and survey the entire ice, like, he had all the time in the world to pick a spot, and it allowed Bouchard, you can even see, move right over to where he wanted to. It felt like they've rehearsed and done that play a bunch of times, and I'm sure it's come up before. But as much as I was impressed with Edmonton being willing to just go get it and not play for overtime, I was stunned that Vancouver didn't have more energy and more jump after tying the game. It just felt like they wanted to sit back and were like, hey, all right, good job, boys. We're going to overtime. And they just totally caved.
Well, the Canucks, in Series 1, the LA Kings, the 1-3-1, they're very passive and it killed them. I look at the Canucks, it's 2-2 in the series. And if Edmonton gets decent goaltending, they're probably up 3-1 for sure. I look at how they're playing. They love to pack the house defensively. They do it 5-on-5. They did it on that winning goal. Like, look where their 5 guys are. Like, they leave the defenseman because they play the odds now. Like, you know what? They're not going to get pucks through all the time. We'll let them shoot from the perimeter. And it's worked for the most part, right? Like, Edmonton's not scoring a ton of goals 5-on-5, especially their forwards, right? I think they got, 4 goals now, 3 goals by forwards, 5-on-5 in the series because Nugent Hopkins got 1 last night. But I don't think that's a recipe for success long-term either. I
don't think so.
They don't press it.
No, 100%. And I also think there's another adjustment or a layer of an adjustment for the Oilers to make in all of this. I think the first shift of the game when the Oilers had the top line and Bouchard and Ekholm, and they had them hemmed in there for almost like 90 seconds, right? But there were 2 shots on that shift. Ekholm threw one from the blue line, no traffic in front. Seelovs handled it easily. And Hyman threw one in front, no traffic. Seelovs handled it easily. And it was like neither of those had any hope of going in because the Oilers didn't have any traffic in front. On the last goal, you mentioned Vancouver, they packed the house. Seelovs barely saw the thing and it slipped through him. I think Edmonton has to do a much better job trying to get into that packed house and creating a little bit more chaos. Because again, what we've seen with Seelovs, obviously if he can't see it, he can't stop it. And there's been a ton of times they beat him twice blocker side yesterday. And how many times did they throw shots from the perimeter that just hit like the inside of his glove and jump down in front of him? Like, I think there are rebounds to be had. I think the Oilers got to do a better job of going to the front of the net. If they make that adjustment, I think the offense will really hum along in the end of this series.
What'd you think of the switch in the second and third defense pairs?
I liked it. I thought the results were solid. I know maybe the 5v5 metrics weren't outstanding by any stretch. I know Vinny played a ton. He got out-chanced or out-Corsied by one, but still, I thought it was fine. I thought Cody Ceci had himself a bit of a rough game with Brett Kulak, but at least there wasn't a ton of damage done when those guys were on the ice. Ceci wasn't on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal against. I felt like it maybe gave Darnell Nurse a bit of a jolt as well, just having a new partner there, maybe kept him a little bit more on the ball. So I'd be all for Chris Knobloch running into game 5 with that same group, keep playing Darnell with Vinny. I would be super open to a change with Cody Ceci, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to put in Stetcher for Ceci. Just, their penalty kill plays very well, and Ceci plays a lot of minutes on the penalty kill. And, I think that's where they look at things like, Ceci last time, there's twice where he had the puck in the third period. I'm like, dude, just get it out. So, don't overthink it sometimes, but, overall, I think they've been fine. I don't mind them, the D pairs, as long as they stay within themselves. Sometimes it comes with the decisions with the puck seem to be the bigger issue, for them. Rick Tocchet did not pull any punches after the game. Said we had got passengers. He had mentioned, and I put his quote out there. I know those guys don't even know it's the playoffs. Like, he's not happy. And it's Elias Pettersson's line. The bottom 6 really isn't doing much. Their top 6 guys are fine, right? Like, man, that Dakota Joshua, what a series he's having. But man, I'm curious if they can get more from Pettersson, because I watch him. Like, he looks like a complete shadow of himself right now. Like, he doesn't even look confident. He looks like a guy who has zero confidence. There was twice he came in the offensive zone tie with the puck and just gave it away. He was like, I don't want it. Here, give it to someone else.
He looks like he's scared of his own shadow right now. Like, again, he walked into the ozone, you're right, like 2 or 3 times. And as soon as an Oiler looked at him, he was like, well, all right, I'll get rid of this thing, and just threw it away. It's stunning. And obviously, like you said, Tocchet didn't pull any punches. And I don't know if you saw this today. I think it might have happened while you were on the air, but he was the Canucks player that was sent out to do media today. So he did like a 5.5-minute scrum. And there was one exchange he had with Farhan Lalji where Farhan asks him a really good long question about what do you make of your struggles over the last 3 months? And Pettersson's full answer, I kid you not, is good question. That's it. That's all he says back. Like, this guy he's got nothing going on. He clearly has no confidence. And honestly, with a response like that, that's not even the response, to me at least, of a guy who is frustrated and wants to snap out of it. That's the answer of a guy who's just mailed it in and is like, whatever, it's not happening. I don't get it. But what do you do with him? They still played him 20 minutes last game. I think their best way to get back in this series is just cross their fingers and be like, well, let's hope he snaps out of it eventually. But I don't think that's coming.
Yeah. They don't really have much other option, right? Now, some would argue that, you're playing him with Mikheyev, who has 1 goal in 60-some games. So it's not like you're putting him in a great position to have success. So, but it's a fine balance. And Tocchet is definitely a coach who's more of a tough love type of coach. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, he demands stuff from his players. Hey, I'll give you opportunity, but I expect you to play. Like, Pettersson can't really complain about his lack of opportunities, because you mentioned the guy's getting a lot of ice time.
Yeah. Again, just pulling up just the 5v5 numbers from last game. He played 15-10. The only forward in the Canucks lineup that played more than him at 5v5 was Brock Besser at 16-15. How much more do you want? And I know you can sit there and say, Ilya Mikheyev, Frank's had the line today with me. Ilya Mikheyev is where scoring chances go to die. And you can sit there and say, he's not playing with enough talent. What are you going to do if you're him? Okay, but also, Elias Pettersson, you just signed a contract that would signify you're supposed to be this big play-driving superstar centerman. Do something. JT Miller's getting results. He's got Pius Suter on his left side. And no disrespect to Pius Suter, not exactly a bona fide top 6 winger. We've seen Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl produce with guys who aren't going, but they drag him into the fight. And Pettersson just clearly doesn't have that ability in the playoffs. Tyler
Yaremchuk joins us. Speaking of dragging guys in the fight, like Leon Draisaitl, if there was a nominee for the Art Ross, right? Not the Art Ross, for the Conn Smythe, he'd be the Oilers guy. he's been unbelievable. And Bouchard would be second. But Leon Draisaitl just continues, scores another goal. Obviously, you talked about earlier his assist in that game. And like his ability to elevate his play. And he's good. Like the thing is, he's elevating from a level that's super high. And he still finds a way to go higher in the postseason. It's crazy.
It really is crazy. I had Zach Cassian on my everyday show today, and we talked a little bit about that. And he talked about or touched on the fact that, like, you know, in the playoffs, he's such a beast physically. He plays in such an engaged style where he goes to areas, and you know, he almost can't do that for a full 82 games. Your body would break down. Draisaitl's almost smart enough to know, like, if I do that for 82 games, I'll be worn out by the end of the season. And the fact he can just seemingly like flip the switch and be like, all right, playoff time, I'm not messing around anymore. It is so remarkable. And there's a great meme. I don't know if you saw it a week ago, but it had the calendar months of like October through March. And then underneath it, it was like, is this guy even a top 10 player in the NHL? And then it was the first playoff month. And it was like, this guy might be better than Connor McDavid. And it's perfectly accurate. You spend all season listening to other fan bases, people on Twitter calling him a power play merchant, excuse me, and whatnot. Then in the playoffs, it's like, oh yeah, he might be the second best player in the world.
Yeah, it's well, arguably, I think he's been better. If you look at his playoff numbers, he's been better than McDavid some years. You know, he does some different things. Obviously, he's better in the face-off dot. So it's a good thing to have. And you know, Edmonton now, I look at like with Dallas potentially winning their series in 5. I think the Oilers, you know what, they got to find a way to win these next 2 games to give themselves a little bit more rest rather than have to go the full 7 and then jump right into Dallas.
Yeah, especially if the 2 Eastern Conference series end in 6 games as well. You could be sitting there, and if you don't close it out on Saturday in Game 6, and you know, maybe getting a little ahead of myself because you just got to win Game 5, but you'd be sitting there with a Saturday night Game 6, a Monday night Game 7. Very realistic chance that the East series starts on Tuesday, and it's like, holy crap, you got to be in Dallas for Wednesday night. So you want to avoid that tight turnaround and give these guys at least a little bit of a break, especially when you know there are a handful of guys dealing with some stuff.
What do you see the Oilers, like, you know, they won Game 2 in Vancouver. It's been tight, but they've talked about it. Like, they got to do more offensively 5-on-5. I think if there's one criticism of the Oilers' play in the series is they're not finishing, and specifically the forwards, right? Like, their defensemen are outscoring them basically 5-on-5.
Yeah, and I mentioned getting more traffic in front. I think that's a big thing. Another side of it is just some guys who had really good regular seasons suddenly not producing anything offensively in the playoffs. Corey Perry scored at a decent pace for the Oilers in the regular season. It wasn't quite 20 goals, but it was in that 15 goal range when you played out over 82 games. Warren Fogle, 20 goal guy. Ryan McLeod had stretches where he was scoring and looking effective. And the fact you don't have anything from those guys in the playoffs, Fogle has 1 goal, but it was on an empty net. So like, he hasn't beaten a goalie yet in these playoffs. Like, to me, those are the 3 I'm looking at. It was great to see Nuge get off the schneid and get himself a 5-on-5 goal, but I'm never that concerned with the production you're going to get when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are on the ice. For me, I'm looking dead at that third line and going like, wake up, let's go. Warren Fogle played a team low 7-10 at all strengths, 540 or something like that at 5-on-5. Wow. With a guy who can skate the way he can, who can forecheck the way we've seen him forecheck during the regular season, and who can score and generate odd man rushes and find those kind of seams to get breakaways. We see that so much in the regular season. We talk about Draisaitl flipping the switch on. How does his switch get flipped so off so fast in the playoffs? So to me, the pressure's on that third line to get going at 5-on-5.
Ty, have a great day. We will chat with you tomorrow.
Yes, sounds good, Greg. Thanks.
There you go. That's Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. 347, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll take a quick break. Come back. We got lots and lots of texts to get to on the Oilers, on the lack of knowing phone numbers in your phone. We have actually, hey guys, I spent the last few minutes memorizing my wife's number. I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't know it. Now I do. Winner from Doug. Winner. Hey, Doug, you know what? It's never too late to remember to know your spouse's number. It's good. Or your partner. It's a good day. That's a win for you. You should walk in. Hey, guess what, honey? I know your number. See if she knows yours or if he knows yours. Ladies, gents, find out. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weir.
You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show.
Equal and Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weir Pearson Akel and Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com. Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Full service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com. The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
.353. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Many of you, hey, you're loving your PC points. Nice. Well, hey, food's pretty important. And right now, the cost of it is brutal. So, yeah, any saving is welcome there. So, I got a PC point. Nice. Good. Can always help you out. We 833-401-1440. There's another number I owe. I bet you some of you know the text line number, but not your spouse's number. I like it. Like, which one do you know? Now, maybe you've put it in your phone. You probably have. But you hear it also every day too, right? It's not like your wife's walking around the house telling you her number. Maybe she should be. Hey guys, the only number I remember from the 80s is the Lido from Ball. 426-5050. If you're hungry, call the Lido. Free delivery. That was the rad. Cons, it might be a little bit before your time. Probably haven't heard that one, have you?
Don't think so. I like it though.
Honestly, that was like their jingle, man. Think about it. This many years later, I still know it. That's a good jingle, right? It's like how many people will remember the Call Legacy?
Everyone.
Oh, do you have Cam Tates? That was like your cue. Well, I thought you were just throwing in there. Oh, that's still my favorite. Oh my God. Tater singing. Now, of course, Tater's got cerebral palsy. We just want to point that out for people beforehand. He did his 2-minute warning.
Are you ready?
Here we
go.
The orders and step out of your comfort zone and do whatever it takes to win. And he did this.
Legacy. 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 Then 2-minute warning with Cam Chase. Monday, Friday. Jason Gregor Show.
Oh my God! Like the third one, when he really hits the high note. You know what? Still better than Struddy singing. Honestly, we might have to play that for Struds. I think Tater might sing better than Struddy. I really do. I don't think there's a. We'd have to have a listener debate on that one. Oh. Hey, boys, what about Alarm Force? Oof. I don't remember the number to Alarm Force. But we've had a few people texting in that they do. 1-800-267-2001. Alarm Force. There you go. It obviously worked for RBS. Hey, guys, any reason why they've opted away from tossing Sam Gagner in for a game? He's shown in the past he can bring a spark to the bottom six from Ty. Well, I think the main reason, Ty, is he doesn't kill penalties. Right? All those bottom three guys on the fourth line, whether it's when Carrick's in, Janmark, Brown, and Ryan, they all kill penalties. And that's a way to keep them in the game. Gagner doesn't kill penalties. He's not magically going to kill penalties. He's not as quick as Brown. Definitely, he has more offensive upside. There's no question. I think they look and say, hey, if our bottom line is breaking even, we'll be okay. You know, ideally, like it's funny, is they might have better chances penalty killing than they have 5-on-5. But did you see who they played against last night? And I know that shot attempts are one thing, but they didn't really give up any scoring chances when they're playing against some of Vancouver's top guys. And Chris Novak had a conversation with those players in the morning skate, and I think was probably telling them, hey, I'm going to play you guys more minutes. You're going to have some minutes against the other team's top line. Perform well. And he went out of his way to point them out in the post-game presser without anybody asking him about it. So he obviously liked how they were doing it. So, hey guys, Pettersson looks like Gaudreau did in the Calgary series a couple years ago. Just destroyed the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year from Husks. Yeah, you know what? That's an actual fair comparison, right? Johnny Gaudreau did not have a good series against the Oilers. I think maybe game one he played all right? Didn't he have a few points? Or maybe that was even Tkachuk. Like Tkachuk was invisible after they basically said, okay, we're going to put Kane on him, and he neutered him in that series. But yeah, Elias Pettersson, yeah, he's on the side of a milk carton, according to his head coach, Rick Tocchet. And it's kind of hard to argue when you look at the results. That line has not been good. Pettersson, and it's not by lack of minutes either. You can't say, well, the guy's not getting any playing time. Because it's hard sometimes to ask guys to contribute if they're only getting 8 minutes. He had the second most minutes 5-on-5. He played close to 20 minutes in the game. And I'm trying to think of a moment where I was like, oof, Pettersson was dangerous on that shift. I can't think of one. So yeah, that's a big problem. I still, I don't know if he's like right now, he's not a driver of a line, so it's not helping him. But Ryan McLeod, well, that line hasn't scored. They're not getting scored on at all. They're not really giving up much against that line, and that's been their big advantage for the Oilers so far. Coming up in the third hour of the show, Mike Rupp will join us. Then we're going to go to a party. Think now, Oiler fans, close your eyes and visualize what it might mean for you if, big if, the Oilers get to a point where they could win the Stanley Cup, and they've won 3 games in the Stanley Cup final. Imagine your excitement, because for some of you, you've never been alive when that's happened. Older fans, not that old, but older fans, of course, around in the 90s. You see, even those of you that are around in 2006, which is 18 years ago, you remember that run. It was great. Up until, it was fantastic for you. You probably thought for sure they were going to win after blowing them out in Game 6. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But up until Game 7, it was a great run. Well, now we will talk about in hour number 3. How about never experiencing that? No, I don't care how old you are as a fan. You've never experienced it. But suddenly you're on the verge of it. What a party that's going to be. We'll talk about that and more after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. We can save up to $200 on a set of 4 select tires, including Goodyear, right now at Fountain Tire. And I did run into a few of the Fountain Tire guys last night at the game. Quite excited. The mood swing amongst any Oiler fan was quite the roller coaster of emotions. Fountain Tire guys, just like you, diehard Oiler fans.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Just one game on the ice tonight in the NHL. The Dallas Stars looking to wrap up their series with the Colorado Avalanche. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock as the Stars lead 3-1 in the association. 2 games tonight. Celtics can end their series with the Cavaliers at 5 o'clock, up 3-1. Then at 7:30 is the Mavs in OKC to take on the Thunder. That series tied to 2 games apiece. Earlier today in the majors, the Jays falling to the Orioles 3-2. Elsewhere, Marlins up on the Tigers 2-0. The Brewers defeat the Pirates 10-2. Nationals falling in Chicago to the White Sox 2-0. And then the Diamondbacks double up the Reds 2-1. Right now, the Rockies have a 7-0 lead over the Padres in the 7th, and in the 6th, Mariners lead the Royals 2-1. In the WHL tonight, the Moose Jaw Warriors can complete the sweep over Portland when they meet at 8 o'clock. And in the PWHL, 1 game tonight, Toronto takes on Minnesota, leading their series 2-1. Toronto forward Natalie Spooner out for the remainder of the playoffs with a knee injury. In the WNBA, 2 games tonight at 6 o'clock, the Sky take on the Wings. Then at 8 o'clock, the Sparks hosting the Dream. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by former NHLer Mike Rupp, the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, James Gallo, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
You got a go-to coffee spot. A trusted
Just after 3 o'clock, it is
day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit edmontonkubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with air.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca. Man, we're everywhere on Sports 1440 Instagram. You want to get us on Twitter, you can, people watching the show there. We love it. We always appreciate that. However you consume the show. We have many of you, the majority on radio, but YouTube, Facebook, it's awesome. So, and streaming live, man, the download numbers are great. So thanks for enjoying the show in whatever way you do. It's always presented by our title sponsor, playalberta.ca. Get in the game, playalberta.ca. And hey, you know what? Whether you want to play casinos, you want to do that, maybe you want to do a little single game betting, you can do that. Also, maybe just go old school. Lotto 649, the $48 million up for grabs, gold ball jackpot tonight, and the classic jackpot of $5 million. Get your tickets. Hopefully get lucky at playalberta.ca. The text line humming today. I'm in. Hey guys, do you happen to know the record for the city with the most years without a major pro North American sports championship? Joe Bananas, off the top of my head, I do not. Most years without a major pro championship. Well, like you're talking ever? Like Vancouver maybe is up there because they've never won in the but they've won the Grey Cup. So does that count? I would assume it counts to me. It's a major pro sport. Yeah, I don't know.
Google tells me Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah. Never won the Timberwolves.
Buffalo's up there.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo's got to be up there.
San Diego.
Pardon? What was that?
New York.
I like San Diego. Chargers. Yeah, Padres. Thanks. Tough one. Well played, Connor. Well played. Let's get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where right now you can enjoy your choice of a sausage McMuffin or a chicken McMuffin with hash browns and small coffee for only $5 to 11 a.m. only at McDonald's. I love the morning hash browns at McD's. Mike Rupp, Stanley Cup winner, ace analyst on the NHL Network, joins us. He always does every Wednesday. Rupper, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm going to turn myself sideways so I fit perfectly. Oh, look at that. That looks way better.
That does look way better, buddy. I like it.
How you doing?
I'm excellent. You know what? It looked for a while like some of these series might be over quickly, and suddenly the Carolina Hurricanes, 2 big wins over the Rangers, like a great third period in Game 5. Well, kind of take me through that series now, and it almost seems like Game 7 is going to be inevitable.
I mean, they did a heck of a job. I think coming into this series, we knew that the special teams were going to play a big factor. We've talked about it, honestly, to nauseum. The Rangers' power play was clicking. Carolina's power play was not. The Rangers are getting shorthanded goals on the Carolina's power plays. And that was the narrative there for the first, 3 games, right? Like it was all power. The special teams were coming up roses for the Rangers. Well, I think the best way to negate that is to not take so many penalties. So Carolina took 13 penalties through the first 3 games. They've only taken 4 over the last 2. So I think they're giving themselves a fighter's chance of battling back in this series. And that's the way to do it because, hey, listen, as good as the Rangers are and as good as they've been this year getting the President's Trophy, Carolina's a better 5-on-5 team. Like, we know this. They've been a better 5-on-5 team for years. So let's play the game 5-on-5. And I think that's really allowed them and helped them to kind of find their game once again. But I got to give a shout out to my former teammate. Jordan Stahl he was a beast. He was the best player on the ice for both teams last game. And, just with that team going out, getting Jake Gensel, Evgeny Kuznetsov, you wondered, is Kuznetsov going to be the answer at center ice on line 2? Kuzi scored some big goals. He wasn't in the lineup for a little bit. Now he's back in being impactful. But Jordan Stahl's kind of been elevated. I think he's been awesome. And this guy has been playing mean, a big boy brand of hockey. And keep an eye on him kind of moving forward.
Yeah, and then you've got the Boston Bruins, man. They go into Florida, and hey, they find a way to get a win. Gutsy win by them. Jeremy Swayman, of course, coming up big. They're all. I still think they're outmanning that series, Rupper, but I give them a ton of credit. I thought they were done in Game 5, and they find a way to battle back. Like, there's no Marchand. Obviously, they haven't had Bergeron and Krejci all year long, but you just look on paper, they're overmatched. But man, they gave them everything they had in that one. Like, I still think it's going to be hard for them to win 2 more in a row against Florida, but I give them a lot of credit just for pushing this to 6.
I'd probably argue their last game, so yesterday, I'd argue that's the best game of the playoffs. And that includes that first round matchup. They played and they did things the way they did in the regular season. Like, their attention to detail is usually on point. It hasn't really fully been in the playoffs. Jeremy Swayman was awesome, just like he needed to be in round 1. He was big in that game. Morgan Geeky's gotten bumped up in this lineup. He's provided that first goal. I was impressed. I think Charlie McAvoy had his best game, probably of playoffs. He just seemed like he wasn't trying to do everything. And I love Charlie McAvoy. Like, I got him on my short list as top defenseman in the league. But he was trying to hit everything, running out of position to hit everything through the first few games of this series, and he just seemed to play his game a little bit more. And it's funny, he got his first shot of the series, and he got a goal and an assist, and in that game. So, yeah, keep an eye on Boston. Hey, one thing though, they had their 6th bench minor for too many men on the ice last night.
Oh.
I don't know, like that to me. I don't know what the number is, but if I had to guess, I'd say you probably have a range from 5 to 10. Over the course of an 82-game season, I think would be somewhat normal. They have 6 in the playoffs, Greg's. Like, they got to clean that up. Can you imagine if they lose because of that and you've had it done 6 times already? Like, you got to clean that area up.
Like, it is stunning to me to have it. Like, what is that? Like, it's almost won a game, right? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's that. And when you watch it, like, it's different guys. Like, I don't to me, you were on the bench, right? Like, the coach will call out the lines, right? Like, unless the coach is waiting for the last possible moment, Rupper, like, what's the reason how this could be happening so frequently in a playoff series?
Listen, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of times where you go and you're trying to find a matchup and guys just come to the bench and change their shift, and the coaches haven't said who's up next. Like, that happens. That happens every NHL, right? Yeah. But I sure as hell don't just jump the board just to, like, I look around. I I count to 5. I don't just go out there. You know what I mean? So I think it's, a lot of times I put that on players. Like I feel like it's always, even when you're up next, guys are always just saying, hey, I got Greg's. I got left winger. I got Greg's. I got Greg's when he comes off. Like you're going to keep saying it over and over again. You keep everybody on the same page. So I don't know. I mean, it's something that shouldn't happen in the National Hockey League very frequently, let alone the playoffs. But I think it's just communication. Maybe loud buildings. Maybe guys don't hear, but you're getting to the point now you got to look around and start kind of looking each other in the eyes and be like, I'm up next,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. Mike Rupp joins us. The Dallas Stars, they lose game 1. Well, they kind of blew game 1 with a 3-goal lead in the first period. They reel off 3 consecutive wins. No Nichushkin, that came down late before game 4. He's suspended for 6 months. We wish him all the best. Like, addiction's no joke, man. I don't care what your addiction is. It's hard. I don't care how much money you make. It doesn't make it easier when it comes to trying to beat addiction. But he's out. Some of his teammates obviously not happy with it. Then you throw in Taves' injury. Now, he'll be back tonight, but I look at Colorado and they don't have the depth to match Dallas right now at all. But I really think I give Dallas's defense credit. They've really controlled Nathan McKinnon here the last few games.
They've done an incredible job. I think McKinnon has 3 points in the series. There's just always someone on the defensive side of Nathan McKinnon at all times. And, I think that when you go out there and you're playing, and that's something I know that we've spoken about on your show a lot this year, like thinking the game and thinking how to win the game. Like that's the objective, right? You're playing to win. Who's that? Is that Jim Mora? Who has said that? No, he said playoffs.
You play to win the game.
Yes. That's what I feel like right now. You play to win the game. You go out there and you execute the situation. Well, you don't have to try to score a goal every shift. And I feel like a lot of times in the NHL now, it's like, yes, ideally I'd love to, right? And if we're talking goals that are up in the NHL and, there's 6.5 goals a game and this is all good. This is where we want it to be. Well, there's a heck of a lot more shifts where there's no goals. So what are you doing during those? Like, you're not always looking to score. You're looking to take what's given to manage a shift. And when Nathan McKinnon's on the ice, your number one objective, no matter whom you are, like you can be the best player on the other team. You could be Wyatt Johnson and what he's doing in Dallas. When you're on the ice with Nathan McKinnon, one of you has to stay on the defensive side. You know what I mean? And wait and frustrate, create a turnover, then go on offense. I think they're doing an incredible job of that. Their forwards are, their defensemen are. They're just connected. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine right now.
The Oilers and the Canucks. It's knotted up at 1, Rupper. I saw some people thinking that going to Pickard was a desperation move, and I couldn't disagree more. I think it was I thought it was a smart move. Desperation would have been sticking with him after the way he played.
Yeah. Listen, I was. This is nothing on Calvin Pickard, and he was awesome in the game, and he's had a good season here. I just felt like for myself that this is a team that showed that they're standing by Stuart Skinner this year when everyone, and probably myself included, were saying they needed to go out and have an insurance policy in net. And I feel like when you get to this point in the playoffs, I'm like, oh, now you're going to pull the plug on them? Like, you guys kind of made that decision before. But again, I'm not in that room. I don't see Calvin Pickard on the day-to-day, how he is in practice and what he does. He was impressive. I don't think, and maybe the reason why it's a good time for a switch like that is to allow, Calvin Pickard to allow Stuart Skinner the time to find his game, but also, Vancouver doesn't generate a ton. They don't generate a ton. So maybe this is like the right situation for Calvin Pickard. So, good on Knobloch for making that switch. It obviously paid off for them. It's going to have to continue. And, I would assume at some point at the end of the day, if this team wants to hoist the cup, and we know they do, because it's, we play to win the game, right? They do that. We're going to see Stuart Skinner again. And if they get to where they want to go, we're going to see Stu Skin in there. And I hope he's able to kind of recalibrate and get back on top.
Yeah, I think you'll see him again, but I don't think you'll see him in game 5. I think I'm going back to Calvin Pickard in game 5.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm doing that 100%. There's no hesitation there.
Leon Draisaitl, Rupp, like this is a guy who's won an Art Ross. He's, over a 5-year span, has got the second most points in the NHL behind Connor McDavid. Yet he still finds a way to elevate his game in the playoffs. He's been the Oilers' best player. He's been one of the best players, not the best player in the whole playoffs. What impresses you most about Draisaitl's ability to elevate his overall play come playoff time?
He has a how do I say it? He's got a little bit of like, I find, not knowing him at all on the personal level, I'm just saying from when I observe the way he plays, the way he talks, the way he carries himself, he's got a little bit of the Michael Jordan in him where I'm like, this guy is kind of an a-hole, like, and I say that in a positive manner. Yeah. Like I like the guy wants to win. I put Connor in that too. Connor comes like, it's about winning. It's about coming out here and performing. These guys find other levels because they're wired differently. And, I love the fact that he came out the other day and before the last game and was talking about she loves and talking about, the posts aren't saves. Yeah. Yes. Give your team some swagger. He didn't come out and say this guy.
Oh, I think we lost Rupper there. Oh, he was just coming into it. I'll have to get him back. I wanted to finish that comment. So,
Am I there?
Oh, you're back.
Right. I don't know what happened there. No, what I was going to say is, at like Vancouver, if they want to manufacture that Leon Draisaitl's not giving Shelov credit, then do it, whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like one of the biggest things for me, and I look at a couple teams in the playoffs right now, and I know from my playoff experience, you're in a vacuum here in playoffs, and you're everything is revolving around this matchup, and you're consumed, and sometimes you lose your train of who we are. And it's really important to not make every decision based off of who they are and what they do. It's about having confidence in who you are. And I love that Leon did that. Leon's like, yeah, look, I read between the lines like, yeah, we hit posts. You know what I mean? Like, we're the Edmonton Oilers, man. We'll be just fine. The New York Rangers, another situation. I'm sitting there, I'm like, New York Rangers, don't be thinking about what, Carolina's doing. We're the freaking New York Rangers. We won the President's Trophy. Like, these are times in playoffs, I feel like sometimes, I'm not naming these two teams doing it, but coaches sometimes will be so connected and obsessed with what they're doing that they lose sight of who we are as a team. So I think Leon brings that swagger, and that's what helps them elevate, and that's what helps their team stay confident.
Yeah, I like how you say that. Like, it's definitely some swagger. It's confidence. He's like, you know what? We're good. I'm not going to worry about too much of them. And, making saves isn't good goaltending. Hitting posts isn't good goaltending. I thought it was a classic line. Well, whoever asked that question's a genius. That's all I know. So we'll go from there. But one last one for you, Rupper. You head into this game now about the Rangers. And you talk about them, they can't worry about Carolina. But Carolina, the one thing they were good at was 5-on-5. And really, like, it was funny. Stahl was not good in the first 40 minutes, but then had an unreal third period for them. Like, how important do you think it is that first period in Carolina for the Rangers? Because the Caniacs are going to be going crazy. There's been situations here. Like, I know there's lots of pressure on both teams when you get to Game 7, but I think it's crazy as it sounds, there might be more on the Rangers if you go into Game 7 having given up a 3-0 series lead. Like, how important do you think Game 6 is to New York?
There's a ton of pressure. I don't think there's any pressure on Carolina. You're not supposed to come back. You're not supposed to reverse sweep. No one's expecting you to do it. Am I nervous for the Rangers right now? Absolutely. I think that Carolina is a team that can do it. I mean, they're a team that was right on the heels of the Rangers for the President's Trophy. I mean, this is a very good hockey club. I think that you're going to have a situation here in Game 6. It's going to be a lot like Game 4. And it's going to be a tilted ice for the first 20 minutes. Probably the first 10 minutes of that game, I'm expecting it to be an absolute jailbreak for Carolina. That place is going to be loud. That place is these guys are going to be moving. That's just who they are. Like, they come out and they can take over and kind of wave on wave against you. I think this is going to be a moment for Igor Shesterkin. Can he be the guy to hold them off long enough for the fellas to get their wheels under him? He's done it a couple times in the playoffs already. He's a great goaltender. I think that's where it's at. I think if Igor Shesterkin plays out of his mind in period one, I think he's going to be tested. Rangers will win that game. If if it's a lot like game 4, where next thing you know it's a goal lead, 2-goal lead, I don't think the Rangers are going to come back in that game, and we're going to have a game 7.
Rupper, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the games, and we will chat with you next week, and we will be in the conference finals.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
All right, there you go. Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. I like what he's. You know what? I think he's bang on about Draisaitl. You got to have a little swagger, and Draisaitl gives you know what about what other people think. It's good. When we come back, speaking of swagger, you're in a situation you've never been in. For your organization and for your fan base. You've waited this many years, and it's finally here. We'll discuss the feeling of that next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply, financing available, book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
.428. A lot of people are pointing out, yes, the Twins did win. They don't have the longest drought, but they won in 1991. So that's 33 years ago. They've obviously never won the NFL. They haven't won the NHL. NBA, no. So they're saying combined years for a championship, but they're still up there. Now, they obviously have 4 teams too, right? Like a city like Edmonton, you don't got the NHL. So now CFL, they've won in 2015, so it's not that long, right? Heck, the Rush won in the NLL before they left in 2015 as well. But you look at Cons, did you find out who's at the very top of that list for the longest?
Well, I mean, do you count the teams that never won a championship? Is that they win by default?
Well, like they'll be one of them, yes. Yeah, that would put them. That would give them an advantage for sure.
I mean, in terms of years, from what I see, it is Minneapolis with 120 years because they do have the 4 teams.
Yeah, they have the 4 teams. So
Buffalo
misleading,
is 119 just behind them with 2 active teams, a longer stretch. But yeah.
Yeah, so Minnesota gets screwed over because they have 4 teams in a way.
I'll just win, you know.
Yeah, well,
that's how you end that.
So you think about it though, combined seasons played. So you're a fan of Minnesota, you go through hockey and baseball and football and basketball and nothing. Stuff. Well, hey, let's get to our hockey report brought to you by Action Electrical. And hey, take action on your savings right now. If you're looking for a 10-year interest-free loan to get solar on your house, they can help you out. And they know all the best service and the best panels to use, actionelectrical.net. Well, we were talking about long droughts. Well, one long drought, and maybe he'll hate me saying this because people are like, hey, no, I don't believe in jinxes. So when you're up 3-0 in the championship final, I think you're going to win. The Moose Jaw Warriors overtime win in Game 3. Now tonight, the WHL trophy, the Ed Chanel trophy, will be in the building. The Moose Jaw Warriors, first time ever that they have a chance to win the WHL tonight. Longtime voice of the Warriors, James Gallo, joins us. And James, I can only imagine the excitement. Obviously, you know what? I've been in Moose Jaw many times, and I can only imagine the excitement in that city. I saw the videos when they came back from Portland. Like, man, you're a guy who's worked for the organization for a long time. I know that it's not over till it's over, but man, it's hard not to think about it at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I believe in jinxes. I'm not superstitious, but a little stitious, as Michael Scott would say.
That's a great
But you know what? I think the guys they've earned to get to this point, and I think that's the best way to put it. They've been battle tested throughout the course of the regular season, and you know this playoff has been one for the ages, right? Especially that conference final against Saskatoon, and you know to start this league final off and go to Portland, win 2. You come back last night, dramatic overtime win. There's a buzz. Hey, this city is buzzing pretty good. I imagine our good buddy Jay Doughton's probably buzzing in Edmonton, getting ready for this one here tonight. But it's electric. I've never heard a crowd in Moose Jaw the way it was last night when that team came out on the ice. It was deafening. The fans have been tremendous. You know, all those gatherings that you talked about. That's organic. That has nothing to do with the organization. That's nothing planned from anybody who's got a Moose Jaw Warriors email address. That is completely fan run, and I've been through the moon. It's just been an amazing ride here in the Friendly City.
So you got Game 4 tonight and Game 5 at home, if necessary, and then they would go back to Portland if by chance the Winterhawks can win too. But you know, James, when the playoffs started this year, you know, I think a lot of people, hey, Moose Jaw was a very good team, but there's lots of good teams. That series against Saskatoon has to go down as maybe the greatest WHL series ever. 7 games, 6 of them required overtime. And, you know, 2 rivals, like, my goodness, you know, in the history of the league, I don't know, it'd be hard to find a better series all time.
You know, going into it, as the series was going on, I was asked about it. You know, I kind of told people the second round series in 17-18 against Smith Current was still one that was pretty memorable for me. I thought in 2006, the second round series against Calgary was another one. But when you get through and you win in overtime in Game 7, and as you mentioned, you know, 6 overtime games, only 1 game decided in regulation, and it was essentially a 1-goal game with the Warriors scored at empty net or late. That's the best series I've ever been a part of. Just the emotion, the drama, the excitement, any cliche you want to use, it was in that series. And to see how both of those teams battled, it was amazing. You throw the family connection with Ali Calvert for the Warriors and his younger brother Rowan for the Saskatoon Blades. It was it was amazing. I don't know if it can be duplicated. I'm sure maybe somewhere down the line it will, but that was a series. And I asked that coach Mark O'Leary about that afterwards. How did that series make you better? And he said, the adversity that they had to fight through after losing Game 5, the ability to manage their emotions in big moments has made them a better team. And it was truly, again, I don't know if I'll ever see it again, but that was probably one of the best series if not, it was the best series I've ever been a part of.
Now, James, I know that seating capacity at the new barn is what, just over 3,000? Is that right?
No, seating capacity, we're probably a shade under 45.
Okay.
We'll jam in however many hundred more that the fire marshal allowed as well for standing room.
Okay, so probably close to 5,000, let's say.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing then, viewing parties around town, because it's not just that, it's Moose Jaw, it's a community, it's everybody around. I'm sure last game, hottest ticket in town, but tonight somehow it gets even hotter for this one. What's kind of give us a sense of just, the feeling here a few hours before the start of Game 4, the first time ever that the Warriors could win the title?
Yeah. I mean, again, just to repeat, there's a lot of excitement. Getting a lot of text messages from past players, just showing their support. And I think that we talk about the community, but the alumni of this team has the support that they've shown, amazing. And as a kind of a point person, a go-between, just to get those emails and those text messages has been great. But the city, everybody's buying the merch. I mean, it's red everywhere in Moose Jaw. People have painted their windows, like the Mad Greek. I know you're familiar with Moose Jaw, Jason. The Mad Greek has got a big mural in their front window of Denton Matejchuk. It's everywhere. Schools, they pulled themselves out of school to go to Main Street and wave to the guys as they were heading up for Game 7 against Saskatoon. The whole city's bought in. I mean, if the Warriors can find a way to win tonight, this city might blow up tomorrow. There's a good chance that Moose Jaw may not exist on the map tomorrow, but for a good reason, I think it'll be great.
Now, what about the Furcus Circus, who is leading all WHL scorers and points in the playoffs?
Yeah, Jagger Furcus is a special talent, right from Irma, Alberta. A little ways from Edmonton. This young man's special. Just to see what he can do. He's not the biggest guy on the ice, Jason, but he has got some battle in him, right? He's kind of that new era player. Braden Point, I think, kind of opening doors for a lot of guys with the way he plays. For me, at this level, playing for the Moose Jaw Warriors, I can see a lot of similarities between Jagger Furcus and Braden Point. Jagger is probably one of the most skilled guys when he's on the ice. His hockey IQ is legitimately through the roof. And, the one thing that I always like, Jagger is one of those guys, despite his lack of size, when he plays mad, look out, right? I thought in Game 2 in Portland, from the second period on, Jagger looked like and excuse my French, he looked like he was playing pissed off, right? I mean, he was out there and he was hungry. He was hard on pucks. And for a guy that size, to be able to get into a guy who's 6'2", 6'3" space, and he's giving up 20 pounds on him, and he's the guy coming out of the corner with the puck. He is just a determined young man. And I think, his determination has got to be on display, and it's got to be contagious to the rest of the lineup. He is a leader on the team. He's a high scoring player in Canada, in the Canadian Hockey League, in the regular season. He leads the Western Hockey League with 31 points right now. And he's the guy that there's going to be a big focal point. Does he step into that spotlight here tonight? And how determined is he, along with the rest of the team, to end this one?
Well, the advantage they have is, so you mentioned him, and then you got Denton Matejchuk, right? Another first rounder. You got Brennan Yager, who is a 14th overall pick from Pittsburgh. You got Matthew Savoy, a local kid out of St. Albert, who they acquired this season, has come in, and they got 4 of the top 5 scorers in the WHL playoffs, all for the Warriors, and then Calvert, I think, is 8th or 9th. They got a lot of offensive depth. I think they got 5 guys with more points than anybody on Portland, right? You've got the top guns and lots of guys who are drafted in the first round that, they just have more talent. And for a lot of years, James, you just couldn't really say that about the Moose Jaw Warriors, right? They had good teams, but they've never had this many top-end talented players.
Yeah, I mean, 17, 18, probably the closest for me. But I think this team, to me is deeper. And the reason why it's deeper is the third line. And it's the third line of Braden Sherman, Rylan Kovacevic, the former Edmonton Oil King, and Ethan Semenuk. And that line, was amazing in the conference final. That was the line that produced the game-winning goal last night. Rylan Kovacevic has been a monster for the Moose Jaw Warriors, an absolute monster. And I know Oil King fans are familiar with the style that he plays, and he has, been doing that since he put on a Moose Jaw Warrior jersey. And when you talk about those star guys, they got to be your best players on the ice. And the guy for me, first off, Denta Matejchuk, he is the best defenseman in the Western Hockey League. And I'd be that guy in where they memes where the guy with the coffee cup and he's got the whiteboard that says, prove me wrong. Denta Matejchuk is the best defenseman in Canada. Prove me wrong. Like he is that good, Jason. And Matthew Savoy, just a little bit about the St. Albert product. This young man, he comes in from Wenatchee. It's not easy coming to a new team, especially, he was with the Winnipeg Ice. I think when he was with Wenatchee, maybe kind of expected that he was going to get moved. The way he came into Moose Jaw, it's not easy coming into a close-knit room, but he was accepted, and he is accepted Moose Jaw as well. You know what I mean? And his hunger and his will has been amazing. You kind of saw it when you played against him in Winnipeg, but you didn't really know kind of everything. He's kind of like that pitcher that is good, but you don't know how good until you get to watch all of his starts, not just the starts against your team. Matthew Savoy is arguably one of the top 3 players in the Western Hockey League, hands down. Him and Jagger Firkus, the only 2 guys in the league that average 2 points a game in the regular season. And Matthew Savoy, I think in particular in this league final through 3 games, has been huge. His determination playing alongside Atlee Calvert has really turned the tide in a lot of games for the Warriors, especially in Game 2 in Portland. And Matthew Savoy, the way that the community has welcomed him and the way that he has welcomed the community, it speaks volumes of the maturity of that young man. And it's just been a pleasure to watch him play each and every shift in a Warrior uniform.
James, give me your prediction for the game.
You know what? We're going to have one. Let's start there. I never do predictions, Jason, not when it involves my team. You never get a prediction out of me.
How about this one?
About the Buffalo Bills? Never.
Yeah. Well, they have, hey, you know what? As a Bills fan.
And there's another long drought that we should talk about as well someday.
Now, Moose Jaw, did the Moose Jaw Canucks win a something way back when?
They did. They won the first league title. They're credited with the first league title late 60s, I believe, is when it is. And then, of course, the Warriors have been here for 40 years, and that's kind of the drought that we're working on.
Yeah, okay. So technically, like they say, league, but it was different league, not kind of under the current formation. Yeah. So this would be where would be like which place do you think will have the best party if Moose Jaw wins?
I think it's just going to be in the parking lot, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think the streets are going to be full. The Crush Can across the street is probably going to be packed.
Are they going to have a viewing party in the Crush Can?
Yeah, as from my understanding, pretty much
nice.
every place in Moose Jaw has got something going on, from the Crushed Can, brew house, you name it. They've been showing every Moose Jaw Warrior game from day one of the playoffs. My understanding is it's been packed for everyone, especially the road games, obviously. So again, like it's awesome. I've never seen it like this before. 2006 was special, but obviously this is different now. This is uncharted waters for the organization and for the fan base, and they've just been riding the wave, and it's been fun.
Well, James, enjoy it, and if you win, no goggles in the room, okay?
I got glasses, so I'm good.
There you go. Awesome, man. Enjoy the call.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
There you go. That's James Gallo, longtime voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. And I'm telling you, think about it as an Oilers fan, how you would feel if tonight the Edmonton Oilers were playing and they were in the Stanley Cup final and they had a chance to win. That's exactly how it is, just in a smaller market in Moose Jaw that have never won. Like some of you, even younger fans, are like, well, maybe you're, somebody in your family, your dad, your mom, maybe they've seen the Oilers win before, so they can tell you about it. There's no one in Moose Jaw that can tell you that. The Canucks, I know technically they're there, but different organization. And also that was in 1969, and really not the same format of the same league as how you see it right now. It's just different. So good for them. Should be a lot of fun.
Gregor, I do have your longest run.
Okay.
And there might be an asterisk there, but it is Ottawa. Because they won the cup in
but
1927. But
Right.
seasons, it's only about 37. But years,
yeah,
years is where
yeah,
they get to.
but they've won Grey Cup, so I can't really count them.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. If you want to count them, so then the longest would be San Diego and Buffalo.
So that's the longest city that's without
Years
ever
wise.
winning any
Yeah.
championship. Okay.
119 seasons for the Buffalo organization, and for San Diego, 115.
Yeah,
Of course, the Chargers leaving.
Yeah, the Chargers leaving, so that makes it even harder now because it's just a one team. Although I guess they have the NLL if we want to include that, but
yeah,
we're just going by the four major ones. In the although to me, I'm sorry, but I'm including the Grey Cup because it's a pretty big deal in Canada. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live in the E-Well studio, EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The savings continue at the Bricks Tent Sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks Tent Sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Jump into spring with a leap of faith and a special offer from Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling. Book now and enjoy a 10% discount on our concrete lifting, void filling, or foundation services. It's our way of saying thanks for choosing the experts in elevation. Don't wait. Spring special is on for a limited time. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
$448. Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Hope you're having an awesome day. Game 5 tomorrow night. We'll have the Oilers in Vancouver. The Canucks flew out right after the game last night. Meanwhile, the Oilers stayed and then flew out today. After Game 2, Edmonton waited and then flew out the next day. So a little bit different strategies from these teams on travel. Does it matter? We'll find out. Not sure it does, but we'll see. Tomorrow, you'll find out for sure what the strategy is. I'd be surprised that Pickard isn't starting in Game 5. It would be a little bit of a surprise for me based on how he played. He wasn't great, but he didn't have to be. He was just steady, which is what many of us talked about yesterday. Get steady goaltending. Vancouver just doesn't generate a lot. Edmonton's a better team. They're more aggressive. Their top end guys are performing. That's the difference. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now, for the next few days, you can save up to 60% off clearance items in the tent sale and in store, as well as 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, 25% off Canadian-made sofas, and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. We're down to a best of 3 now. Oilers and Canucks in said best of 3. What is your prediction?
Yeah, well, I predicted the Oilers would win at the start of the series. It's not going to change. I'll say the Oilers win in 6.
I'm with you. That was my pick at the start, so I'll roll with it. Oilers get the next 2 done. Question number 2. Vancouver Canucks goaltender Thatcher Demko's condition has improved immensely in the last 72 hours, according to their head coach, Rick Tocchet. Do you believe it, or do you think this might just be some gamesmanship from the bench boss?
It's a good question. Do I think we will see Demko on Saturday night, Connor? Is that what you're telling me?
Throwing it out there.
I think there's a possibility because they could be facing elimination.
I think he's not lying. I would assume in the last 72 hours he has improved. I don't know about the immensely part. That's where I think there might be a little bit of hey, let's take some attention. Let's talk about this instead of maybe some of the passengers, his other comments that he made the night before. So I think it might be a little gamesmanship from the coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a wise guy, but I'm going to say I still don't think he's ready to go Saturday night. That being said, I have no clue. Question number 2. If we were looking at the NBA Conference Championship games right now, the series that could potentially happen, well, let's just say you got to make the pick. Which teams do you want to see advance on?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I want to see Boston. I don't necessarily like Boston, but I do want to see them move on. And then just for kind of the hype machine, New York, I like the Pacers. But Knicks, Celtics, I think that'd be good for the league. They probably want to see that one. Obviously, OKC Thunder. Love Luka, love Kyrie, but I want to see Shai go on to the final here against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. So I want New York, Boston, OKC meeting Denver.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard for me to pick anybody else. Although the you look at that's a huge game coming up tonight for the Thunder and the Mavs, but the Knicks, that was a great game last night for them. So yeah, I think if you're looking for 4, although I won't be disappointed if it's the Mavs. I kind of like them or the Thunder. I'm not sure either one can beat the Nuggets, but I don't. Did you see Edwards' post-game comment last night? Like the one thing the NBA does better than the NHL is their players aren't afraid to give props to the other good players in the league. Like Edwards, they were asking about Jokic. Jokic. Well, plus he was pretty funny when they asked him because I don't know if you watched the game last night, but he had a few dunks. Like one time he kind of like, from the, definitely not from the free throw line, but kind of like the low paint and, the like a windmill for him. And, that's not really his game. And they asked him about it. He goes, well, I'm a freak of nature because people always call him that. So it was so funny how he delivered. It was hilarious. Like, trust me, he didn't mean it in a cocky nature at all. It was hilarious. But Edwards was just talking like, what are you supposed to do sometimes? Like he's the best player in the world right now. Like it's hard to defend him. And that's true. Like people might not like to hear, but it's true. Like they're trying everything. They just can't. And so I think it's be hard for anybody to beat the Nuggets when they're on their game.
You'd love to have a Drew Doughty truth serum every once in a while against the Oilers. Like it's Connor McDavid. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Well, that's what Doughty says. He goes, hey, there's no rivalry. They beat us every time.
Question number 4, NFL schedule release officially tonight. So we'll get, I'm sure, some good videos and some cringe content, but is there a matchup you would most like to see in person this season? If you look online, you can probably already see some of them. I believe the the UK and Germany games already have been released.
Yeah. I would like to go to KC to see a game. And I don't know. I know they're playing the Bengals in week 2, Cons, but I don't know where it is. I think it might be in Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. But I would like to go to Arrowhead, and I'd like to see the Chiefs, and whether they're playing the Bengals, the Bills, or the Raiders. One of those 3.
For me, I mean, biased Chargers Ravens, would love to see the Harbaugh Bowl, the Har Bowl. But if I was to take another game, I would love to go. And you know what? I'm thinking either city would be fantastic. Bears Packers, because the Bears might be a little bit more entertaining this year. Lambeau or Soldier Field. Either way, I think I'd
mean, to
enjoy
both,
that.
man. Lambeau's unreal.
Chicago's got the great city.
Yeah, but Lambeau, any sports, I wasn't a Green Bay Packer fan. I'm just telling you, the experience to go to Lambeau was one of the greatest sporting experiences I've ever gone to. It was unreal. We took a bus from Chicago. We were on a tour. Probably 11 years ago now. And it was Monday Night Football against the Vikings. And so you roll, and it's like you're on the bus, you're driving through, and all of a sudden it's like literally, like the stadium just comes out of nowhere. It's like a bunch of fields, and then, now here's the stadium. And it was, that to me kind of made it cool. It's almost like Field of Dreams in a weird little way. And then you pull in, and it was an unbelievable tailgating experience prior. Everybody's ultra friendly. And so they even have trust me, man, like they know what they're doing there. And we bought the tickets through the Packer website. So we had tickets on like the 30-yard line that were not remotely that expensive. I couldn't believe it. And it was fantastic. The history of the stadium, I would recommend it to anybody. If you're a football fan, that's a place you have to go.
Was it the metal seats?
The benches,
The
yes.
benches, yeah.
Yeah, they have the
That's awesome.
benches. It's unreal.
Yeah. Be worth it. A little back pain after, that's fine.
Yeah.
It'd be worth it.
No, back pain. It's still, you're standing up lots.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
And final question. We should get to that one, shouldn't we? Number 5 here. Shrek 2 premiered at the Cannes Film Festival on this day in 2004. So we're going down a bit of a tunnel here. I've asked your favorite animated movies. I've asked your favorite sequels. But what is your favorite animated sequel?
Oh. Is Lord of the Rings animated?
No. Pretty stretch.
Oh man, that's a good question. I've had to, of course, with Beckett around, I've watched a lot more animated movies lately. Favorite sequel, I might go with Despicable Me 2. The Minions, man, God, they make me laugh. So I probably have to go with them.
Good one. There's a few I could go. Obviously now nieces and nephews getting to watch a whole lot more of these movies. Sing 2. Love the first one. I love the second one.
I was going to go with Sing, but I liked Sing 1 more than Sing 2. So that's why I didn't go with it. But Sing, the original Sing, honestly, the last half hour of Sing, no joke, I will watch it by myself.
It's not good.
When they all perform, oh my goodness. When Johnny hits the stage, are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. Dad comes in, out of nowhere. Oh, so good. So good.
Toy Story 2 also. Good one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Toy Story 2, that is pretty good. I will say, honestly, you know who else impressed me in Sing, though, was Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, when he sang, I thought he was, as Mike, he was pretty good. Doing a little Frank.
Yeah.
Did it my way. Oh. But yeah, if you're a young parent, I should say a parent with, not your age, but, your kids are young. When they get to the age to watch Sing, I'm telling you, I know there's some shows that after a while, you're like, oh my goodness, if I have to sit through this or hear it, because a lot of times you're not even watching, you just hear it and you're just like, oh, but Sing is outstanding. So good. And Sing 2 is pretty good too, but I like Sing 1. The only thing I didn't like about Sing 2, Cons, was how Sing 1 ended with Mike and the bear, and there was no mention of it in Sing 2. That was what got me. I was so like, oh, Sing 2's coming. I'm going to know what happened, because I don't like cliffhangers. I don't like it. Now, I shouldn't say that. I don't mind it if I get to know in the next season or the next year or the next episode what's going to happen. I'm fine with it. But they never addressed it. it still bothers me. So hence Sing 2 can't be on my list.
That's fair.
Mhm.
It's like Sopranos, you know,
Yeah.
some things are just interpretation.
Yeah, they just totally they just like, hey, we're just gonna ignore what happened to Mike. What? I want to know what happened to Mike. Come on. It's fairly important. So there you go. Coming up in the final hour of the show today, we'll hear from Spec. We'll also hear from Chris Knobloch. He spoke to the media today. The Oilers flew out this afternoon to Vancouver. They will, of course, have I'm not even sure it's a team dinner tonight, to be honest. Might be guys just going out on their own. And then, of course, they'll have a full attended morning skate tomorrow. I shouldn't say full because some guys like Draisaitl, he hasn't skated once on off days or on morning skates, and clearly he doesn't need to. Very quietly, Leon Draisaitl leading the NHL in scoring with 20 points, averaging over 2 points a game again in the playoffs. Pretty impressive. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. They take the time to assess your commercial situation, ensuring you get the coverage that you need that's finely tuned to the nuances of your business. Locally owned and operated. Support local. HighStreetInsurance.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Just one game on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Dallas Stars looking to wrap up their series as they host the Avs, leading 3-1. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock in the NBA. We're a few minutes away from tip-off, the Celtics take on the Cavaliers, leading 3-1. At 7:30, the Mavs in OKC taking on the Thunder. That series tied at 2 each. In the majors today, the Jays were losers, falling to the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. Marlins knocked off the Tigers 2-0. The Brewers beat up on the Pirates 10-2. White Sox over the Nationals 2-0. The Rockies shut out the Padres 8-0. And the Reds fall to the Diamondbacks 2-1. Right now, you got the Mariners leading the Royals 4-2. That's in the top of the ninth. KC does have a runner on second with no outs. And in the top of the second, Phillies and Mets tied at 1 apiece. Later tonight, the Red Sox host the Rays. Cubbies take on the Braves, Twins, Yankees, Guardians, Rangers. Astros host the Athletics. The Cards take on the Angels. And the Giants host the Dodgers. WHL action tonight. Moose Jaw looking to complete the sweep over Portland at 8 o'clock when those two teams meet in Game 4. And in the PWHL, you've got Toronto in Minnesota. Toronto leads that series 2-1. Looking to wrap it up tonight. They'll have to do so without Natalie Spooner, who will miss the remainder of the playoffs. And in the WNBA tonight at 6 o'clock, the Sky take on the Wings in Arlington. And then at 8 o'clock, you got the Dream up against the Sparks down in Long Beach. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet and Edmonton Elks wide receiver Geno Lewis. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Catch the Edmonton Stingers basketball home opener on June 2nd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
Debt.
Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everyone, it's Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. In recent years, we've seen a huge shift towards first-time buyers in our showroom. This has left us with a major shortage of trade-ins and used product on our lot. We are currently in need of quality used RVs. If you would like to sell or consign your RV, please call or text us at 780-438-2008 or visit us at carefreerv.ca.
Elevate your drive with spectacular savings at Windermere Chrysler. Get 10% off the rugged 2024 Ram 1500, the luxurious Grand Cherokee, or the versatile Durango. Thinking bigger? Opt for a heavy-duty truck and enjoy a no-charge diesel upgrade. Or take advantage of no payments for 90 days on select 2024s. Visit us today and explore these offers in our breathtaking new showroom.
It's just after here.
It's Windermere. Visit windermerecdjr.ca.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Here she come now, morning.
For 5 o'clock. How are you? Made it through another hump day. Make your way home safe. Can relax if you're Oilers fans, because your team's not playing until tomorrow night in Vancouver. Game 5. Game 6 will be in Edmonton on Saturday night. And tomorrow on the show, we'll auction off a pair of seats for Saturday's game. Should be a lot of fun. Saturday night, potentially a chance for the Oilers to wrap up the series. We'll see what happens tomorrow night, but could be quite the event on Saturday. Well, either way, if not, the fans are going to be crazy because they want to try to help the team force a Game 7. So either way, it's going to be a big, important game. It is the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get involved. Use the promo code Gregor50. That's Gregor50. Whether you're a first-time user or you're regularly there. Use it, and you get a free $50 wager with a deposit of minimum $5. PlayAlberta.ca. Only one game in the National Hockey League tonight, and Oilers fans might be watching it, because if you're confident that your team is going to move on to the next round, well, the teams that are playing tonight, one of them is going to be going there. The Dallas Stars on home ice have a chance tonight to punch their ticket, be the first team to the third round. Good news for the Avs. They will get Devon Taves back in the lineup tonight. He missed game 4. He is back in. But Rupe Hintz out for the Dallas Stars. But they will have, he was questionable. They weren't sure he was going to play, but Chris Tanev will play tonight for the Stars, but no Rupe Hintz. So it's a pretty big loss for the Stars. Let's get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction. 50 years. It's quite the number. It's quite the accomplishment. You start out small and just keep growing and expanding, and that's what they've done, and they're hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction if you want to work for a great company with unreal benefits, and they love promoting from within. GS Construction. Mark Spector joins us from Vancouver, Spec, where the Oilers flew in today. The Canucks flew home after the game last night. We'll see if there's really any benefits for the rest factor or not. But I guess let's Rick Tocchet saying, hey, Demko's feeling better. What do you make of that?
Whatever. Are they going to get better goaltending than Sheilaz has given them? You know, let's face it. The Oilers have territorially owned, out of the last sort of 6 periods, I'll bet you they've had 4.5 of them, and they haven't scored many goals. So, play whoever you want in net. Sheilaz is giving you grade A goaltending right now. I'm not sure it gets better. A guy that hasn't played in a long time coming back in. I'd be very wary of messing with a good thing if I was Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd be surprised if he played tomorrow, but we'll see. Calvin Pickard, I'll be surprised if he doesn't play tomorrow. He wasn't great. He didn't have to be great. The Oilers did a very good job of limiting quality chances, but when they were called upon, he made the saves he needed to make, and he gets the victory. You know what? 2 goals that go in, one off of a leg. Besser. Oh, by the way, he shot that on purpose at his player, not even trying to shoot it on net. He was shooting at the legs, and it worked. And then the other one went in off of Nurse. But Calvin Pickard did exactly what we talked about yesterday, Spec. Just be solid.
Yeah, I don't know how you could not start a guy who wasn't beaten with a clean shot in the game, right? 2 deflected goals that he has 0 chance on. That's nobody's fault. No one's blaming anybody for it. So good play by Besser. Absolutely good play by Besser for sure. There again, I think one of the things, Jay, when they came into this series, we argued and everybody bantered back and forth about who has what advantage and what makes which team better and blah, blah, blah. The one indisputable fact on both sides was this is the second series that Vancouver's played since the bubble. They played them both this year. This is the 7th series for the Oilers over the last 3 years. And that experience is undoubtedly an advantage, and it showed itself. The Oilers did this thing with Skinner against Vegas last year, and the coaching staff decided not to go to Jack Campbell. They stuck with their guy. And this year, when Skinner starts to get a little tired and he stops giving you this extra save that you wanted, I think they looked at their experience last year against Vegas and said, no, we're not doing this again. We're going to try a different guy. We're going to make a different decision than we made a year ago, and it's the right decision. Vancouver doesn't have that to fall back on. So that is an advantage to Edmonton, and it showed itself in that decision.
No, that's fair. It clearly was the right decision. They played well. I think eventually we'll see Skinner again. I'm just not sure when it's going to happen. I don't think they have to rush him back. You know what? It's the playoffs. There's no egos. You want to win in the room. I think it was Mark Stone if my memory's correct, now he might have said 30. I could be wrong on this. I might not be remembering correctly, but he's like, there's 30 guys in the room because, they had Hill and they had Brissois and they had lots of guys coming in, and the Oilers are going to have different guys. Like Sam Carrick's probably going to get in the lineup again here at some point. We might see Phil Broberg with an injury. You're going to see Skinner again. And last night it was Pickard's opportunity to contribute to the team, and he did it, and he did it well. 2 other guys, though, they're led by the same guy, Spec. The 2 best orders in this series have been Draisaitl and Bouchard. And Leon Draisaitl and Bouchard, they connect for the game winner in what was a massively roller coaster third period in the building, on the ice, and everything. But I guess we'll start with Leon Draisaitl. And I said it yesterday, Spec, there's 0 reason to play him and McDavid together. I even argued that the only reason he might do it is because you're kind of protecting McDavid because he's banged up. But and I think maybe more so than Draisaitl. But Leon Draisaitl, again, was a driving force in that last night's win.
He's such a gamer. Hey, like he's all those things us Canadians love about our players that show up in the big game and fight through it and play hurt. And, this guy's all of that. I don't care. Who cares where he's from, man? He's a genuine hockey player right there. Like, look around, how are they talking about their star players in Toronto this last couple, 10 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just today, Elias Pettersson gets, I'm telling you what, he did media today because Rick Tocchet made sure that happened. That's about the fifth different way they're trying to light a fire under the guy that's going to be their highest paid player at 11-6 next season for like 8 years. And right now in Vancouver, the fan base is celebrating when they sense he might be engaged in a game, right? Freaking Draisaitl, the guy plays no matter how injured he is, and he leads the league in scoring all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just get a few points; he gets all the points. So, this guy's he's like a German Mark Messier without the fights at this point. It can't get any better than what he's giving you right now. It just can't.
Yeah, no, he's been exceptional for the Oilers. And what about Evan Bouchard, Spec? He's playing almost 28 minutes a night in this series, 27 minutes and 51 seconds. When he's on the ice, the Oilers have outshot them 48-15. They've outscored them 5-1. He's got all of his goals are even strength. He's got 2 assists on the power play. He's scored in 3 consecutive games. 2 of them game winners, one in overtime, the other one last night in 39 seconds. And the other thing, Spec, is we've known Bouchard to be good offensively. I think he's taken his offensive game even to new levels. But his defensive game in this series, I think, has been exceptional.
First of all, he's out playing Quinn Hughes, who's going to win the Norris probably, right?
Yeah.
And that matchup in this series, Vancouver wasn't supposed to lose that matchup. They're losing it. That's all there is to it. We're not done yet. Could change. But right now, it's Bouchard's winning that matchup. One of the things that some of it, like Maddie and I do this often with a scout or a GM or someone at a pregame press meal. How many number one defensemen are there in the National Hockey League, right? How many Petrangelos and Hedmans and I'm not counting Morgan Riley. Quinn Hughes, he is a number one. Doughty is a number one. The Oilers, frankly, haven't had a number one. A guy with everybody around the table would say that guy's a number one defenseman. I think there's usually we get to about 15 in the league, and then we start to argue, right? Is there a 16th? Is that guy? I don't know if that. I'm here to tell you that Evan Bouchard is not only entering that conversation, but by the time we're done here, the Oilers may look at themselves and say, hey, we have a true number one defenseman in the National Hockey League. There's not 30 of them. I'm not sure there's 20 of them. But the way he's playing defensively, Jay, and the way his offensive game has gone, he looks very much like a guy we're going to say this is a number one defenseman. He's young, he's good, and oh boy, what a find for the Oilers to get this guy.
Yeah, well, it's only his 3rd year. I think he's another prime example. And he had the advantage. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of naysayers out there, and I guess if they keep repeating it, they expose themselves, who are like, oh, Duncan Keith. Yeah, he didn't need Duncan Keith. Evan Bouchard, who's one of the most calm guys. You want to get him excited, you ask him about what he learned from Duncan Keith. And he raves about what he learned from playing with Duncan Keith. And now he has Matthias Ekholm. Now, that doesn't make Bouchard more skilled. It just gives an advantage to learn. And then he has to put it into play on the ice. But he learned things from Keith, who's a future Hall of Famer. He's learned things from Ekholm. And now he's taken charge of it. And, I would say that I'm not going to say he doesn't need Ekholm, because that would probably be unfair to Ekholm. They both benefit from each other, but it's not as much of a reliant as maybe it was last year when Ekholm came in and helped him. And now this year it's, Ekholm might benefit a little bit as much or maybe more from having Bouchard there, because Bouchard I think he's really figured out how to play defense, which is the hardest thing to do for offensive defensemen, but he's figured it out, and he plays within his game, right? He plays defense like Nick Lidstrom played defense. Sticks, positioning, and that's how he plays defense, and it works very well.
Well, listen, go ask Duncan Keith if he needed Brent Seabrook, right? Why
100%.
Brent Seabrook was some percentage of the reason why Duncan Keith was so good. Go ask Paul Coffey if he needed, learned to need and need Chuck Huddy on his side, right? There's a reason those guys played together. Koff got all the Norris trophies, and Charlie Huddy was just that steadying force. They were a perfect tandem. They worked great together. So every number one needs a good number two. And, I back to what we were talking about. I mean, Ekholm, if we were only judging the defensive end of the rink, Ekholm would be a number one. But in the big picture, he's just a really good number two. And if that number two is next to a genuine number one, they've never had that pair. Nurse never played with a number one defenseman. When's the last time the Oilers had that pair? They got it now, right? They got Ekholm is fabulously strong defensive player, and the kid Bouchard, who has been developed perfectly, I might add. You're talking about some revisionist history, Jason. Oh, he didn't need Duncan Keith, blah, blah. They, give him credit. They developed this guy properly and slowly, and at a very young age. He is a fantastic player, and anyone out there says they should have did it a different way and it would have happened faster, you know what you're full of.
Mark Spector joins. Spec, you head into game 5 now, and every game gets more important the later it is in a series. That's obvious, right? Because there's less room for error. If you have a bad game 1, well, you got a lot of time to make up for it. Now you have a bad game 5, you could be done in game 6. The Edmonton Oilers, I don't see them changing anything, except I like what Leon Draisaitl said after the game. We still got to be better 5-on-5 production-wise. Their offense just isn't there yet, right? In Vancouver, we know what they do. They did it on the winning goal. They love to pack the house. Right. In Edmonton, they're getting zone time. They still, I think, especially, some other guys, not named Draisaitl, they got to go to the net more and still create more havoc. I still think that's the one missing ingredient of their team 5-on-5 offensively.
Yeah. And it's no sort of coincidence that we're talking about, Ryan McLeod is one of those guys. We want him to go to the net more. Corey Perry is a guy that goes to the net. He has 0 points here. That line, I mean, to me, this series is, it's a tied series. Frankly, it's advantage Vancouver. They got 2 home games. Somehow I feel like Edmonton's been overall the better team, but what they've done it without a third line, right? With really nothing provided here by the third line offensively. So to me, if you can get the contribution from, I love the makeup of Perry, Fogle, McLeod. I look at that line and all its parts. I think that should be a good third line. If it is, I think it'll turn the series. I don't think the Canucks can take another line in Edmonton that's having success, but they got to do it. We're grousing about Elias Peterson and we're pointing out his flaws. The Oilers got a whole line of guys down there that aren't getting anything done. It's time for them to pitch in too.
Yeah, Warren Fogle, his giveaways last night led him to some long stretches on the bench. I think he only played 7 minutes. So I think his puck decisions will have to be a lot better in game 5, and I expect them to be. So we'll watch for that. Spec, enjoy Vancouver. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, Jake.
There you go. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Coming up, the leading receiver of the Elks, Geno Lewis, is going to join us in about 15 minutes time. We got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. 833-401-1440. We'll get to some of those. Update you on some other numbers around the Edmonton Oilers and why so far Evan Bouchard has outplayed Quinn Hughes in the series. There's no number to back up that says he hasn't, and we'll show you some of those next. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. Guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton.
Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The savings continue at the Bricks Tent Sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
The Adventure Calls event is on at Chevrolet. Right now, get the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and available adaptive cruise control, you can get off the open road and just enjoy the calm, quiet, scenic, great outdoors. Back to the truck! Visit your local Chevrolet dealer for details.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Steve and Haley, who own Blue Jay Storage in Camrose. Their company offers secure self-storage options ranging from closet-sized units to RV parking pads. To make things convenient for customers, Blue Jay's gates are open 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Way to get down to business, you two. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Over a calm, glassy lake, you cast your line. Your new Toyota sits majestically by the water's edge. A loon calls in the distance. Or a duck. Anyways, one thing's for sure. This moment isn't just a dream. It's an invitation to adventure. So stop dreaming. Red Tag Days are on at Toyota. For a limited time, lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 Double Cab SR5 from $164 weekly for 60 months at 6.99% with $6,899 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
.527. Welcome back. Gregor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you are having yourself an awesome day. Enjoy a night off, unless you're going to watch Dallas potentially eliminate Colorado. Hey, can the Avs do what the Bruins and the Canes did? Stave off elimination. So far, teams facing elimination 3-0 in the second round of the NHL playoffs. It'd be great to see it go 4-0, right? You want to see these series extend a little bit. It just gets a little juicier the longer it goes. Right now, the Oilers in Vancouver for sure is going to be a 6-game series, which means a Saturday night. Now, they still haven't announced the start time, Cons. I haven't seen it. Let me look. Yeah, it's still to be determined. It's a Saturday night. God, there's 2 games. Are you telling me they have to start at 8 o'clock? Like, seriously? New York, if there's a game 7, would be Saturday. Now, it's probably not going to be an afternoon, so it'll probably be an early one. But if the Rangers win tomorrow, then the Oilers would be the only game, and you can guarantee that would mean it's a 6:20 puck drop on Saturday night. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine? You're going to the mosh pit. You're going to the game. You're just going to your friends. That's an unbelievable Saturday night party time. It's like the ideal start time. Ooh, and if the Oilers win that game on Saturday night, ooh, mama. The city will be having a lot of fun, I would think. 528, lots of text to get to, 833-401-1440. Now, here are some numbers because we keep... Hey, Gregor, how can you say that Bouchard's better? Second assist on the power play don't make you top D-man in the league. Well, here's a fun little stat. Now, I never said that Evan Bouchard was a top D-man in the league, Justin. What I said was, in this series, Evan Bouchard has had a significantly bigger impact on the outcome than Quinn Hughes. I specifically wrote, it doesn't mean he's magically better than him. All it is he's put himself in the conversation amongst top defensemen. Right? Is Quinn Hughes considered elite defensively? Is he? So here's some of the numbers. So we'll crunch on. First of all, Bouchard has played 27:51 in this series per game. Hughes is at 24:48. So 3 minutes more per night. Bouchard has 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 helpers. All 3 goals and his assist came 5-on-5. Hughes has 4 assists, none at 5-on-5, 3 on the power play. As I mentioned, 5-on-5 with Bouchard on the ice. The Oilers have outshot Vancouver 48-15. They've outscored them 5-1. With Hughes on the ice, Vancouver has outshot Edmonton 30-28, outscored them 1-0. So decent, but here's the thing. With Hughes off the ice, Vancouver has 7 goals, 5-on-5. With Bouchard off the ice, the Oilers have 2 goals, 5-on-5. Right? Like, there's no way you can tell me that Bouchard hasn't had more of an impact in the series. Like, the numbers are blatant. They're blatant. He's been way better. Now they'll say, oh, he plays with McDavid and Draisaitl. Okay, well, who does Quinn Hughes play with? You don't think Quinn Hughes plays a lot of his minutes with Vancouver's best players? Now, their best players aren't McDavid and Draisaitl, but he's still. Brock Besser scored a lot of goals in this series. None with Hughes on the ice. Actually, that's not true. 1. So you can't tell me that, right? So clearly they're scoring without Hughes. And I like Quinn Hughes, don't get me wrong, but he's not 6'2" either. That's the one advantage that Bouchard will have moving forward. You can defend more space when you have longer limbs. It's just simple math. Now, Quinn Hughes' lateral skating will always be better than Bouchard. Bouchard's shot will always be better than Hughes. Just how it goes. That's never going to change, right? Evan Bouchard isn't suddenly going to have the lateral movement of Hughes. Doesn't need it. They can both be good. But I know Vancouver fans are a little salty. And even some Oilers fans who've got a lot of texts, Gregor, why are you trying to pump up Bouchard? He's not that good defensively. Doug, have you watched the series? I'm talking about this playoffs. How can you say Bouchard hasn't been good defensively in this year's playoffs? What the hell are you watching? Tell me how he hasn't been good defensively. Just tell me. Right? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Hey, Gregor, Bouchard's on the ice for 3 to 4 minutes a night without McDavid or Draisaitl. Maybe less. Well, again, false. But Mitchell, you can say numbers. It doesn't mean they're accurate. Right? I look up my stuff. Don't make statements unless you're going to have factual statements. That's what we thrive on our show. Opinions can be like, hey, I like this guy, I like that guy. Great. But if you're going to make a statement about fact, I haven't been on the ice for this many minutes, then it better be fact. Otherwise, I'll rip you about it because we like to have facts. Opinions aren't facts. Those are different. We can have an opinion on, hey, I think this team's going to win. I like this guy, blah, blah, blah. That's great. But if you come to actual data and factual numbers, then bring the factual numbers. Because otherwise, it's dumb. Hey, guys, I love people in their second assist comment. I wasn't aware that they didn't count as a point from BG. Oh, BG, you know what? That's probably my biggest pet peeve is you've had a small percentage of mouth breathers who are like, oh, second assists are terrible. Well, they're only terrible when the player they don't like is getting them. The minute it's a player they like is getting them, suddenly they don't mention it because it's the dumbest argument. Sometimes the second assist is the best part of the goal. It starts the whole play. Sometimes, yeah, it doesn't mean much. Sometimes the first assist doesn't mean much. It's become a new age ridiculous thing that tries to downplay. Oh, well, he has too many second assists. Okay. Hey, Gregor, who do we keep? Bouchard or Nurse? Can't afford both, Brad. Well, Nurse has no movement clause. So, and you can't afford both by the time Bouchard's extension kicks in. Salary cap probably going to be 95 mil. So, yeah, you could. Right? Like, look at how many $9 million contracts Tampa Bay has. Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, Vasilevsky. Now Hedman's $8 mil. Right? They had that and they won. So you can do it. I don't think it's going to get to a point where you have to choose one or the other. Right? I don't see it. Now, all of it depends on, Draisaitl's contract is the one that's now Bouchard's an RFA. So, I guess somebody could offer sheet him, but the Draisaitl UFA contract, his contract ends the same year Bouchard's an RFA. But when you're an RFA, obviously Edmonton, you could match if you had to. There's other things at play. You're in a little bit better position. UFA, he could just walk. Right? Bouchard can't just walk. He can hope for an offer sheet, but you can match it or at least you get something. So it's good. Hey, guys, they'll have at least $30 million tied up in McDavid and Leon. Possibly. But look at Leon Draisaitl. Do you think he's worth it? Think McDavid's worth it? I don't think you're going to be complaining. Now, I don't even know if it'll be 30 mil, to be honest, because I don't think McDavid's going to get 17. I think Draisaitl's probably 13 and a half, 14. And I've said this all along. If the Oilers win, it's what you've wanted all along as a player. Then you win, then trust me. Now the thirst for winning again becomes even more. And Draisaitl, how much will he need? I have no idea. And I've always said I think it's going to be a 4-year deal if Leon Draisaitl re-signs here. I don't see it being a long-term deal. I actually think that's better for the player. I kind of think it's better for the organization because it forces them to keep being competitive. It's great for fans. But I don't think the Oilers are going to have to choose between Nurse and Bouchard. They'll probably have both. But if you had to choose, well, of course you'd be choosing Bouchard. I think that's a real big question. He's younger and he's performing better. 5:36. When we return, Geno Lewis will join us on the show. The con man will be running that interview. I have to step out, going to an awards ceremony this evening for Rotary. So look forward to that. Lots of inspiring people doing a lot of great things. So should be fun. Have yourselves a great evening. And when we come back, Geno Lewis and Connor Halley.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat. Legacy. We freaking killed it, Nuge. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
From bench to bench, sport to sport, Elite Promotional Marketing will help take your teamwear to the next level with a wide selection of uniforms, apparel, and promotional products. So when you want your team to look elite, head to ElitePromoMarketing.com.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
They're the heart of Alberta's economy. The coffee shops and construction companies, the ag operations, oil field services, and retail stores. They're the small and medium-sized businesses that keep money moving and folks working in our rural communities. At Vision Credit Union, we're proud to serve businesses like these with personalized support, common sense lending policies, and products that work with life here. Let Vision Credit Union help your company get down to business. Learn how at visioncu.ca.
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and courage. Tickets are $75, including entry into a mountain getaway draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50/50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local Kidsport Kids registration fees. Visit kidsportbidsforkids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley with you as Gregor had to take off to an award ceremony, wrapping things up here in our final segment. 1-833-401-1440. If you've got any questions for us here on this show, we will bring in Geno Lewis, Edmonton Elks wide receiver. This is the CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC or furnace. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca. And like I said, we bring in wide receiver for the green and gold, Geno Lewis, coming off a season in which he had 844 yards, 3 touchdowns, 48 receptions, not even playing a full season. Great numbers for the veteran wide receiver. Geno, thanks a lot for doing this today. How are you?
Thanks, man. I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, glad to have you on here. Of course, the football season is going to be here in no time, June 8th. Season kicking off against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders down at Commonwealth, but a couple preseason games before that, and kind of the dog days of camp for you guys as this rolls on. So I want to ask just how's camp going so far? And if you could, for those who aren't too familiar with what CFL training camp looks like what's a day look like for you starting when you get up in the morning?
Yeah, man. So, training camp has been going good so far, but usually the way it works is I wake up at about 6 o'clock. We get to the stadium probably at around 6:45, 7 o'clock. Got to go to breakfast. And breakfast from 7 to 8. Then at 8:30, we got to be outside for early outs. So, I got to get my tape in, got to get my stretches in all before that. Then, we're on the field from probably about 8:30, depending on the day it is and all like that, to 11:30, 12, 12:30 if we got to get some extra work in. And then we go to lunch, come back for around 4 o'clock for our team meetings. And then we'll have position. Then we'll have lunch at 6. Then at 7 o'clock, and then at 7 o'clock, we'll come back to have our meetings from 7 to 9 for installs and things like that. It's a pretty long day, man. It's about 6 in the morning to about 9 p.m. every day.
Man, that is absolutely ridiculous. The grind is real for you guys there. I want to ask you about McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Obviously, a big acquisition this offseason coming in to the quarterback room, a veteran. We know what he can do. He's got the track record. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, man, he's been awesome, man. You could just, his presence, his maturity, and his leadership has absolutely been something you can see just from the jump since he's got here. You could tell he wants to win. You could tell what his mindset is, and he's been giving the receivers chances and giving a chance to make plays, and that's what we've been doing. So it's really going really, really good. It's still early, in camp, but we're really excited for what we've been doing.
Elks wide receiver Geno Lewis joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for the final segment. And when the move happened, there was a lot of fans, and we heard it here through our text line. People surprised because Trey Ford, we saw the magic that he made on the field. What's the relationship been like for the two quarterbacks here? I assume Trey Ford's kind of taking it all in stride, but people on the outside saying that this could be a bit of a tough, touchy subject for the quarterbacks here.
Yeah, no, honestly, what I would say is you got to understand we're competitors, and Trey is a competitor. He wants to play, he wants his opportunity, but at the same time, he also knows he wants to help the team win in any way that he can. So so for him, him and MBT, their relationship has been going great so far. I think the first couple of days they had broke the ice, and I think Trey is understanding now that MBT is also here to help him learn and prepare him for when it's his time and when he's the next face of the CFL, because that's what Trey is his potential is in his league. He's ready. He's going to be completely ready. He's not going to be thinking about things. He's going to understand, the way that MBT. He's been through so much, so everything that he can learn from MBT has been going great. And they definitely been, in the film room together, working and just helping each other each and every day. So the quarterback room is going great, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for MBT and Trey and all the other quarterbacks to learn from each other and just give us a chance to make plays.
Yeah, I think the fan base is with you on that one. Geno Lewis joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. I want to ask you, you're going into season 7 here in the CFL. Obviously, you've been one of the best since you got into the league. Now you're kind of shifting into one of the, you're still young. I don't want to be offensive or anything, but one of the veterans of the room here. So when you see the young guys coming up, maybe even coming up from the South, what's the message you pass along to them to try to get them to adapt to the CFL game just a little quicker?
Yeah, so for me, the first thing I tell them is to, you got to get your plays down. You got to make sure that you know what you're doing so you can play fast. And you got to be consistent. Being consistent and being disciplined is, probably the biggest thing you could do out here. And also, too, is being available. Availability is one of the best things that you can be as a player. Being able to go out there and make plays, stay healthy, and do the things that you need to do at a consistent basis. So for them, I just tell them to grind each and every day. It might be one day that you have a bad day. Don't let one day turn into 3 bad days. You understand what I'm saying? So, I just try to do everything I can to help them. We go over film and watch one-on-ones with them, try to help them as much as I can. So for me, my whole goal has always been to help the next generation, be better than we were. So, for me right now, I'm in a great time in my career. I'm still in my prime, and I'm ready to go out there to, lead by example and you help these guys the best way that I can.
Just with Jarius Jackson coming in midway through the season last year, taking over play calling duties, now he's had the offseason to kind of work things out here. What changes or improvements have you seen from this offensive group?
Yeah, I just think just putting guys in the right position to be successful. I think that's one of the best things that we can do. understanding what, each player's characteristics are, knowing what they're good at, and also just figuring out, new things about guys. So I think just putting guys in the right position and finding ways to get mismatches, I think that's what we've been doing a lot better now.
We are joined here by Geno Lewis here on the Jason Gregor Show, Edmonton Elks wide receiver. The Edmonton Elks a couple weeks from getting the season going. Want to ask you this because Gregor wanted me to mention actually beforehand. For those who don't know, you were at the Pizza Pig Out last fall, and I believe you won a contest consuming the most pizza. So any training going into maybe defending your title here as the best celebrity pizza eater in town?
Yes, it's actually crazy. I got my trophy in the locker room. I just had put it in my locker the other day. And everybody's like, what's that? I said, I won a pizza eating contest. And, they were all laughing at me. But like I said before, the reason why I won last year was because a lot of people don't think that the crust is part of the pizza slice.
Mm-hmm.
And the pizza crust is part of it. So when I ate all the pizza crust with each slice, I ended up eating more than everybody else because they didn't eat the crust. You know what I mean? So I was just thinking smart, I had a plan. And, this year, I know people are going to be, trying to take some of my game and things like that. So I just got to prepare and find something new.
Now, we had Jamin Pelly in studio, big boy. If it came down to it, who do you think could put down the most pizza in the Elks locker room?
In the Elks locker room, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Pell he's definitely up there. I would say I'm gonna have to go with who would actually probably go crazy. Kenya Moore, Swerve Moore, number 3. He
really.
Listen, I know he's not that big a guy, but he can eat though.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. Looking forward to it. Okay, now one last question before we let you go here. Really do appreciate your time, Geno. You played collegiately Penn State and Oklahoma, correct?
Yep. Yes, I did.
How are the teams looking this season? And do you lean one way a little more than the other?
No, I mean personally, I look at both of them. At Oklahoma, the coaches and stuff there now are one of the coaches that I was there with. At Penn State, a lot of the coaches that I was there with aren't there anymore, but they still got the same head coach, James Franklin. So, honestly, college football is so different for me now just because all the conferences are changing and it's a lot going on. The NIL deals is kind of changing a lot of things in the football and the competition and like the love for the game. But like I said, I'm Boomer Sooner. We are Penn State all day till I die. So I'm always going with both my boys.
Awesome, Geno. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. I wish you the best in the rest of camp and throughout the season. Hopefully, we'll get you back on again.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
There you go. That is Edmonton Elks receiver Geno Lewis joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. They will have a bit of a fan day going on down at Commonwealth on Saturday, 9:30. If you're looking for somewhere to take the kids, could be a really good time in the Edmonton Elks. So we touched on it obviously throughout the entirety of the offseason here. How good are they going to be? How many changes can they make? Obviously, we know they're bringing in a defensive coordinator and maybe taking a little bit off the plate of head coach Chris Jones. So I think that could be something that could help out this team. Maybe just have you a little bit more prepared on game day. If Geno Lewis can stay healthy, watch out because he put up big numbers last season, had a couple huge games, even had a 102-yard reception, I do believe, for a touchdown. So the guy is a big play waiting to happen, and I think it's going to be a good year for the green and gold. We'll see how it gets going out there on the field with that half stadium look. I know that the atmosphere is what made the Eskimo games back in the day great. So I hope we can get back to that at some point here. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Big thank you to all of our guests today for joining us on the show. Mike Kelly of the NHL Network, Divo McEwen, Canada Bobsled, Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. We had Mike Rupp of the NHL Network and James Gallo, play-by-play voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, who had a chance to wrap up their series with the Portland Winterhawks tonight. Spec, of course, and as you just heard, Geno Lewis of the Green and Gold, the Edmonton Elks. For Jason Gregor, I am Connor Halley. That'll do it for the show. We will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock with another loaded show, getting you ready for game day. Oilers-Canucks Game 5 out in Vancouver. Up next, we got Turn Sports, and of course, Fox Sports Radio tonight at 9 o'clock, and then Carius Douglas and Laddie Smead back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Right now, we'll get to an update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate, plus eligible Costco members receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is a Sports 1440 update.